What's going on? Happy Friday, everybody. It is Friday, January 22nd, 2021. Hope everybody's doing good out there. It is cold as hell up here in the northern country. What do we got going on today? We've got a couple things I'm going to show you, including a Reddit thread on former flat earthers. What made you realize the Earth is in fact not flat? Ask Reddit. We'll look through that, see if there's any mind-shattering stuff in there that might be interesting. Chemo came up with a video about a satellite release, a little mini cube satellite release. That's kind of interesting. Maybe we can analyze that. I'm hoping Travis is back from his vacation, but I think he's got a couple days. I've been watching his footage and his analysis that he's been putting out over the last few days. Pretty interesting stuff. I'm looking forward to talking to him about that. I'm sure we'll hit that next week once he's back. And who knows where else it's going to. I'm going to bring up that 21-mile laser test again today, just to make sure everybody has seen it multiple times. It has the link to it because I think it is an excellent video. And there's 220 feet of hidden missing. Yeah, there's a giant hump of water that the laser goes directly through. Or maybe the giant hump of water isn't there. I don't know. But I think I'm going to go with the hump of water isn't there. But you can make up your own mind. If you want to support the show, there's a link to Streamlabs. And I'll go ahead and pin that at the top. Any support is appreciated, but obviously not required or necessary. The fact that you're here on Friday night listening to the show is cool with me. And it's even cooler if you decide to come in the Discord and show us an argument that you have, some evidence, tell us something, just hang out, whatever. It's all good. Anybody, it's an open panel for the most part. And you're free to join. The link is in the description for the video. If you have any trouble with it, just hit me up and I will fix that for you. Get a new link out there. Let's see who we got in chat. Ian Adams. What's up, Ian? Smurfer Girl Whatevs. Page 42. Bill G. Flat for Life. What's up, Flat for Life? And scrolling. Chrissy Heavey. Hi, Chrissy. Yeah, that's it so far. What's up, guys? Good to see you in. There's Super Flurf. What's up, Paige? How you doing? And then in the Discord, we've just got Jimbo. I know that Jeremy's not going to be here today because he's got something with his family going on. And I don't know who else will be here. But let's go say hello to Jimbo and see who else pops in. What's up, Jimbo? Hello. Is it just me? Maybe you're having mic issues. The green around your icon is on.
No. I'm here.
Oh, there he is. Cool.
Hello, and how are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Well, in one sense, doing fine. I've had a couple of impacts to my rib cage and stuff, and I think they've accumulated and kind of their injury to me. One is to my back, and I think I actually bruised my kidney or something because I'm really having some issues now. So I'll probably go to the emergency because it's kind of getting serious there. I injured it over a month ago, and something serious happening now. So
holy shit,
I
dude.
gotta go get it checked. Yeah,
go get it checked, man.
I think I bruised it, and I have a bit of blood in my urine and stuff, and pain where I impacted. I fell backwards getting up, and I hit the corner of a table on the back rib and the kidney, and it was about a month ago, and I had 20 minutes till I could even get up and breathe from that one. Still got a kind of scar and mark from it. When they say it's going to leave a mark, that one did. But anyway, I guess I got to have an x-ray or something and figure out what's going on because it just ain't doing good.
Sounds like it. Yeah. I try to stay away from doctors these days, but when you got something going on like
that. Me too. It's the last thing I want to do. But I mean, if it's that badly hurt and I got to get I don't think so, but kidney removed or something.
Oh, shit.
Well, I heard it bad, man. I mean, I've had a few accidents. I got hit in August by a car. and things have been kind of downhill for me since then.
You
And then
got
I
hit
got
by a
sugar
car.
issues and stuff. Yeah, and just after mid-August, I wound up nearly roadkill. The guy who hit me, like, he was going into a restaurant. He's trying to pick me up off the ground. I'm in so much fucking pain. I'm yelling at him, "Don't fucking touch me." If I could have got up, I'd have beat his ass silly. But he wanted, to get me up and moving and just pretend it never happened type of thing. Yeah, fucking idiots. But anyway,
How hard
they
did he hit
peeled me
you?
off the sidewalk. Oh, pretty good. He accelerated in front of me. He turned in and just cut me right off. I was on a bicycle, and he just turned right in front of me. He cut off the bicycle lane to go into the Tim Hortons, and I was going at least 20, 25. My shoulder hit the door and his wife's side and stuff, and the bike crunched and crushed and everything. And the guy didn't even sort of notice. He drove up into the parking lot, and his wife had to tell him he hit someone.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he parked about 50 feet away.
Did he
Fucking
say
idiots, man.
sorry?
No. Oh no, just tried to get rid of the scene. He wanted me up and off the ground and walking away with my fucking trash. Anyway, some fucking people. He shouldn't have a driver's license, but he'll probably keep it forever. And I'm sure I'm not the first one he's fucking hurt. That's another story.
Wow. All right. Well,
I can't find out his history, so.
I hope everything's okay with you, Jimbo. Be careful in Tim Hortons parking lots there, man.
Oh yeah, or anywhere on the roads,
Yeah.
bicycle lane. You can't predict what people are going to do, and they don't have respect for bikes anyway. Drivers, most of them.
No.
They figure they can cut you off, and you can stop for them. They don't understand, they're passing to the left. They're not supposed to.
Mm.
You can't pass a bicycle and cut them off to turn into a parking lot. It's illegal. It's just like you couldn't do it from the left lane to the right lane and cut someone off to, make a right.
Sure.
There's rules.
Let's see who
But
else.
anyway.
Who else we got in here? We got Brian Leakey just popped in. What's up, Brian? Oh, he's still on mute. And SE Montreal. What's up, SE?
Hey, Brandon. Good, brother. How are you?
Good. I got
Ouch, Jimbo.
Vive le Québec.
Vive le Québec. Ouch, brother. Sorry to hear.
Well, things should work out. Like I say, it's mostly from physical impact and stuff, so it's not other reasons you get like kidney problems, So it's from, I know it's physical impact and a bruising, so I'm worried and not too worried at the same time. It's not the big old C word, So
that's the one I always worry about, man.
me too.
Don't you feel like it's just a matter of time? It's like one day you're gonna go to the doctor and they're gonna tell you that you have cancer. Well, that's
If you live
depressing.
long enough, they say everybody gets it.
Yeah, no, that's depressing. Yeah, just happy Friday, everybody. Everyone's gonna get cancer.
The Grim Reaper has arrived.
Yeah. Well, I did find out one thing that's really, really interesting. And, well, without mentioning one C-letter subject that's on the table in a lot of places, well, there's a thing called CVID and not COVID. And it's about a autoimmune thing people have. Very popular, very regular. And it's from a parasitic infection, i.e. a virus. And they treat it with a special chemical. And, well, it's a subdural. It's an injection, subcutaneous, very much, and has the same basic symptoms of what the puke juice are putting in people's arms for COVID. And this is called CVID, and it's a parasitic infestation in people, causing immuno and SARS-like stuff. And it's treated with a antiparasitic. Subcutaneous. They can cause encephalitis and death and convulsions and all the nice things that this current puke juice does.
Oh yeah, I see this.
Like
Common variable immune deficiency is a disorder that impairs the immune system. People with CVID are highly susceptible to infection from foreign invaders such as bacteria, blah, blah, blah. Ugh.
But I think they're masking this COVID with, just modifying the language a bit from this CVID, and, the therapy is this, parasitic subcutaneous injection.
Oh,
You got to run with it. You can't pull it out of your ass.
interesting. I hadn't heard that theory before. You just popped something in the general, SE, that I just saw. This is very colorful. What is this supposed to be?
Yeah. I found this a couple of months ago. There's some new definitions here.
Is this a everlasting gobstopper? I think I've had these before.
Yeah. How many bites before you get to the center, right?
Yeah. Inner core, outer core, lower mantle, upper mantle, asthenosphere, lithosphere, continental crust, and oceanic crust. Huh.
We live on a giant jawbreaker.
Yummy.
Mmm.
And we've only been eight miles down, so we got a lot of licks left before we get to the center.
Yep, and we got it wrong. Not we, they got it wrong. Just about all the way down.
Yeah, I've heard you bash them over the head with that quite a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sure
Well,
did.
Still waiting on Rumpus. He said he's gonna do a powwow with George because George has a book. So I hope that Rumpus could pop in and tell us more about it. I would be interested.
That's right. I remember that. Yes.
When they say there's nothing new under the sun, it's true, because we rehash the same stuff all the time, just like the Globies do, essentially, eh? But, I'm thinking, like, just one thing for me, if you had to look at any single thing proves that there's no rotation to the Earth, a hot air balloon. When you lift off, if the wind is blowing northeast, guess where you go? Northeast. You truly do go anywhere the wind blows. And most places you have to have a chase vehicle to follow you around and, gather up your stuff when you land at the end of the day. Well, in ballooning, there's a perfect flight. It's called a box flight. And it's not available or possible everywhere. But where it is, they have regattas and all these big rallies. But what they're able to do is go up, catch an air current, pretty well any direction, north, south, east, or west, ride it for a few hours, drop down, and catch a current back home and land where they took off.
Oh, that's pretty lucky.
They don't need to have a chase vehicle, and that in any direction. So it would sort of neutralize the idea that once they take off, the Earth is rotating at different speeds at different latitudes underneath them.
Have you ever been in one of these? Any of you guys? Hot air balloons? No?
I haven't.
I can tell you a secret. Most of these people have insurance and can bring up people willing to pay for a ride. So you just have to call a Remax or other, people who have these things. They spend, $3,000 to $10,000 on them, and they have costs to get them up, and they do bring people up for hire. If they're insured, they're allowed to. They're professional balloonists, right? They're licensed.
You don't hear about them crashing too much.
No. Well, they're bad circumstances, If, you take off, there's always going to be high tension towers, a mile away or whatever. And if things go wrong and you don't get up and you get blown into wires, you're in trouble. If you don't clear treetops, you're in trouble. It's not a perfect science. It's not a perfect way to get around by air. And it's not 100% safe. I mean, there are going to be risks. There are some days, if there's too much wind on the ground, you can't even take off. There's no point.
You don't really have much control once you fire that baby up, do you, and start going up?
Nope. And, you have this flap on top that can get jammed. Let all your hot air out. And that's your control valve, kind of. Huh. Or your propane gets stuck on full charge or something, Oh, you start to climb too high too fast.
I'll have to do that one day. It looks fun.
Well, if you got Remax or Apex or you see these things flying around, usually you'll have, be able to get in touch with them.
Yeah.
And they do, it might cost you $80 or a couple of hundred even for an afternoon. But most of them hire out. I mean, they're happy to give people a new experience and thrill and stuff, because it is a thrill. I have no doubt. I love helicopter rides. I mean, I like them and I don't like them. I don't like when the door is open, you're seatbelted in, and you bang to the side, and you're like looking out over mid-space, almost dangling out over the water, held in by your seatbelt.
Oh yeah, it's creepy. I've been in I've been in helicopters before. Pretty creepy.
Yeah.
It's saying here there's actually North Pole balloon rides supposedly. At 90 degrees north, they have a tethered balloon and they will send you up.
That's possible, but I'd still like to see it.
Yeah, we should see about booking this Arctic expedition to the North Pole. Quark Expeditions. Let's see what this is all about.
Well, we looked up a few years before some of these things, islands off Greenland, the most northerly places you could go, and it's $800 for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, this is 14 days, $32,000 starting price. I don't think we're going to be able to.
On your coffee, $50 off.
I don't know. I'm not a millionaire, so I'm pretty sure that's out of my price range. Your 360 close-up of the North Pole.
Bullshit. And the price is that high just to keep people from even, going. And
Possibly.
That take away 99% of the population right there.
How would you even know if you were at 90 degrees north, really? If you were really in the center?
You'd be a bonehead to believe you were. I could bring you to an isolated patch of snow and ice and tell you you're at the north. How the frick would you know?
Yeah, exactly. But this
Pat
is where
you on the back, bum, send you home, keep your money, you sucker.
This is where they say it goes up right at 9 to the actual North Pole, they say. Your adventure begins with a one-night stay in Helsinki, Finland. And then you passengers on your charter flight from Russia, where you'll embark on your voyage to the North Pole. Northbound in the Arctic Ocean, being on board Victory and feeling the icebreaker. Oh, so you'll ride an icebreaker. And then you'll go to the 90-degree, supposedly the North Pole. And then return. That's what you get for 35 grand right there. That doesn't seem worth it, man.
There was a time they said it was all melted at the North Pole, so I wonder what state it's in now. Melted, thawed, frozen.
Yeah, all the polar bears were all stranded on icebergs, right? They couldn't find any seals. Yeah, I remember those sad stories.
Calling out to humans on ships, save me, I'm a stranded polar bear on an ice floe.
Global warming, not enough ice for the polar bears to hunt. Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
We like Joe Biden, he'll help save the ecology.
Those damn Canadians clubbing seals.
Yeah. Speaking of Biden, I've heard mixed stuff. Now Fauci's out there saying that he's very optimistic. I mean, they started turning around the story on COVID.
I saw a fucking midget at the fucking White House spokesroom or press room. That fucking midget was fucking Dr. Fauci? Holy fuck. That's how deep they pile shit where he comes from, eh?
Yeah.
Not too deep.
You can now anybody that stays on from the previous president, I don't trust them. So like the FBI head is going to stay on now that Trump's gone and what's his name's in? Biden. So I mean that just tells me it's like, can you really trust that guy? Like what was he doing before? Why is this new guy happy with him?
Well,
happy enough to let him keep the job?
One thing you want is the unions on your side when you're president. And he already axed all the XL pipeline and a bunch of other jobs with his axe he signed yesterday. Probably over 100,000 jobs were signed away in one signature. All union jobs. So I don't know if he's on the right start. I think he's going to start a lot of agitation and unrest. And unions are activists and stuff. They won't mess around with this.
Speaking, before we get too far away on this, I heard it today and I was like, wow. Did you guys hear about when they did the parade there? When Biden came in, the military people turned their backs on him. Anybody hear that?
I
don't know
heard
how
it,
true
but
this
I
is.
didn't see it. I didn't see anything about it. Is it true?
I don't know. I just heard it myself about half an hour ago.
Yeah, I heard somebody told me about it, but I don't know. Let's see if we can find it.
Yeah.
See if this is true. Let's do some real-time search.
That's not a good sign if it is, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Antifa don't seem too happy with Biden and the Democrats either. They're just raiding their offices, destroying things, and still on a rampage, you know, the Antifa. People who thought they'd be happy when the Democrats got in don't understand what they're about.
Right. Yeah, it was just marketing. Well, I don't know. You never know who to believe, but these guys are saying it was protocol. It was just what they were supposed to do. It wasn't like a protest or anything.
Protocol to turn your back on the incoming president?
Yes.
Yeah, to
That
look
doesn't
for
sound right.
yeah, to look for enemies that might be on aggression. You won't see them if you're looking at the president.
And again, I have no clue about military stuff, so I'm the last guy to
They're
talk about
not
that.
supposed to be goo-eyed by stars and all this stuff here in the military.
Here's the video. This does seem a little weird though. So they're all standing on the side of the road. Some of them are turned forward, but a lot of them are turned back. That doesn't seem right. Why would they do that? What would that be protocol for? So these ones are turned forward, right? At attention.
Yeah.
And these guys all have their backs turned. Why?
Yeah. It's like the whole regiment or platoon or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it seems organized, like they're standing in formation somewhat. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know why they would do that. Oh, well, I guess I should read this and see what it says. It says protocol, but...
Unless they're like on protection guard and guarding all flanks, something like that. Doesn't seem right, though. I don't know.
Oh, this one says, the troops were purposely positioned that way to ensure the new president's safety.
I just said that.
Yeah, the guardsmen were on duty with a mission to protect the president against potential threats. Some are facing out to ensure the safety of all. Okay. I guess. Whatever. I see Brian's back. What's up, Brian? Nope. Spoke too soon. Let's talk about this thing. I found this Reddit thread called Former Flat Earthers, what made you realize the Earth is in fact not flat? Have you guys ever seen this? It's from a while back, about 8 months ago, but I had never come across it before. I thought we'd go through this and see.
Hey, brother, I'm listening, just so you know, man. I'm just real slow to the draw on the mute button, man. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I hear you now. Okay, cool. Okay. We'll just go through this and see if there's anything good in here. Hey, something I can finally answer. Not me, but my good friend and roommate fell into the flat earth black hole while in university. Started out as a joke, but when he just fell into it more and more. Eventually, I challenged him to do an experiment to figure it out ourselves. We went to opposite ends of a big inlet bay. He had calculated the supposed curvature of the Earth and figured out that from the distance between us at one end and him at the other end, we should have a few meters of water between us. We both took some powerful green lasers that he had smuggled back from China in years past. What? Well, on the phone, I would shine my laser somewhat into the air, watching to avoid planes and helicopters. Then, now that he could see me, he would shine his laser up into the sky and slowly lower it until it disappears, or just me. If it hit me, the Earth was possibly flat. Well, it disappeared 3 or so meters above my head every time. He accepted it, and we moved on, besides a brief time where he thought I was refracted from the water. I don't know. We do have a 21-mile laser test, which I said I'd bring up. Now seems like a good time, which clearly shows two people 21 miles apart over the Great Salt Lake. And they definitely can see the laser directly in line of sight, but that's kind of a weird way that they were doing it. And I'm sure there's times over lakes where you could be obstructed, such as what we see in Pebble in the Ponds videos. You know, the light just doesn't reach you because of the miraging or refraction or internal reflection or whatever the hell's going on. Here's 21 miles, direct sight of a laser. 21 miles, 220.
What's his height? Does he? Sorry, Brendan?
It's all in here somewhere. The height and stuff. Oh, you didn't see this the other night, Essie?
I did. I don't remember the height though.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was either. I think it was 5 foot. Let me see if I can find it.
Whoa, that's it. Say no more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He did all the calculations and stuff. It should be 220 feet of hidden.
Wow.
I think that pretty much says all that needs to be said about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 5 feet. Here it is. 21 miles.
There's no way. There's no way.
Right.
On a ball that you can see that far. No way.
No. And, you know, George was trying to tell us about how salt water is electrical. What did he say? Conducts electricity, and the light would refract through the salt water or whatever. And then, you know, Rumpus, refraction, normal excuses.
Yeah. Tell him I have Sea-Doos coming in and out of view like a disappearing screen from 5-6 miles. You can go check out my video.
Oh, yeah, we know
like
that.
Star Trek, you know?
Yep. Well, this is pretty cool doing that at night because it takes the sun out of the equation.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it if you're going to do the laser test, obviously.
The cool thing is you can see the beam for a good distance. It's like really something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, who knows how far you're seeing that for. But you don't see any curve in the beam. The beam's supposed to be refracting. It's just too bad we didn't get a side-on view, but this is pretty dang cool. So I thought I'd show that again. Let me share the link to that for anybody who hasn't watched it. That's on Taboo Conspiracies channel, so go check that out.
That's a pretty powerful beam there. I don't see much of like the light spreading. It's pretty solid beam there.
I got a nice 12-mile shot with a green laser, and I got that.
Yeah, I've seen yours.
That string of satellites in the top of it by accident too.
Yeah, that's really freaked out. How much does one of those lasers cost? A good one like that?
Under $20. You can get
You're kidding
two
me.
of them for about $25. Yeah.
Guess what I'm gonna be ordering
50
next.
miles. And like I say, I suggest one of the through night 2000 lumen lights too. It's easy to port around, and people can see it 25 miles away, beach to beach. What a treasure!
Can you recommend a certain brand or anything like?
Yeah, it's called Through Night, THRUNITE, and I'll get you the model number. Or I have one that's slightly more powerful. Let me find it, and I'll post the link.
Well, thanks. I do appreciate that, bro.
The Through Night is $212 now, I guess, US, and the other one is just over $300, and it's just a little more powerful. So you're better off with the Through Night. It does the same job. But let me post both, and I'll put them in the general.
Cool. Yep, so that's that. That's what it looks like, 21 miles away.
Hey, I wonder how far you can see the beam. You know, let's say you pointed at something far away, let's say a pole, right? And zoom in. How far you think you can see a beam like that?
It's a good question.
I'm gonna test it out.
How are you?
Yeah, it helps to have reflective surface when I
Because you know
shine
what
a
I
beam,
just thought of, Jimbo? Line
at
of
12
sight.
miles, yeah, at 12 miles, the only thing I really see is the reflection back from the tower, like in the photo I took. That plate or whatever it is over at 12.3 miles away at that antenna tower.
But you see it, right?
Oh, definitely, as bright as it
Nice,
lights it
nice.
up like a green. It lights it up brighter than the warning lights that are already built into it.
Wow, cool.
Way fucking brighter. Anyway, it's amazing. But yeah, I can point it at a mile away at a building. You see about a, well, 6 foot in diameter spot on the building at a mile. But different lasers have a little bit better focus and stuff at a distance. They're all pretty good on average. Some are slightly better than others. But these are great little, like, for $20, 50-mile laser. Holy crow. Who can complain? And anyway, I'm going to get back to finding the links for the lights.
Cool. Even in daytime, as he zooms out here at the end, it's like it just looks flat. Flat. It's flat. Anyway, yeah. So that was the first one. I don't know about this laser test they did. I think they should rethink that. It doesn't seem like so convincing to me. Hate to see somebody get convinced by something like that. And then you don't want to read through these comments. It's just like, ugh, same crap we get from the trolls all the time. But I think I was about 3 when I first saw a globe and had it explained to me. Okay. As someone who entertained but never genuinely believed the idea and went pretty deep down the rabbit hole, it's distance over time. On a flat Earth map, circling the North Pole should be an extremely short trip, while circling the South Pole would be the longest route on the planet. The further south you get, the further apart things should be, and the longer trips would take. The flat Earth map really falls apart there. Once they start arguing that time works differently based on location, you know there's no way to justify the argument. Does anybody argue that time works differently on different parts of the Earth? Anybody ever
Of course they do. Oh, you don't know their fantasy?
Oh, I mean, the heliocentric model, but nobody on flat Earth says that when you go to the southern part
Well,
of the...
Brandon, you gotta
smarter
know,
than that.
time moves, I think, slower at your feet than at your head,
Exactly that. They say if you
gravity,
go to the Eiffel Tower,
or vice versa.
yeah, listen to their
Take a look,
nonsense.
guy.
If you put an atomic clock on the top of the Eiffel Tower and one on the bottom of the Eiffel Tower, there's going to be a different time. Of course, it's going to be 1/400 billionth of a second. They're going to come up with a crazy number like that, but yeah, that's what they say.
Right. Yeah, the twins thing. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, gravity and time. Nonsense. Time dilation.
All right, so that one doesn't really cut it, but we don't have a map, so they are right in that sense. And as I've said before, if you're not comfortable with ambiguity and need to have all the answers and need to have an answer and a story for everything, then flat Earth is going to be pretty tough for you. But if you want to go by scientific evidence and have beliefs that are supported by experiment, then the only answer is to question the globe and go with your first-hand experience. That's my opinion. Didn't flat earthers do experiments to prove their point that ended up disproving it? Then, of course, continued believing what they wanted to anyway. I think they're referring to the Netflix documentary. That Netflix documentary was watched by a lot of people. With Bob and Sharon's experiments. I bet they regret that. How many times do
Did you see the other one where they show those, was it National Geographic? Where they show the 3 colors? They're showing the where the horizon should be, and behind the picture, you see the horizon? Did you see that one?
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, we brought that up on here many times. That's hilarious. They had to fake curvature for their documentary about discovering curvature. That was great. And I think Jaron was just being honest when he did his experiment. It didn't work out like he thought it would because of, I've heard him explain the trees in the way, or it was too far, or it just was a flawed experiment from the beginning. So he says, interesting at the end. And they take that to mean he proved that the Earth's not flat. It's nonsense.
Of course, of course.
I think my favorite recorded flat earther interaction was when Elon Musk tweeted at the Flat Earth Society and asked them why they believed the Earth was flat when we could plainly see that Mars is round. They responded that unlike the Earth, Mars has been observed to be round. Okay.
You could be right about that. We observed something up there. We certainly didn't observe the Earth.
Yeah. Mars looks roundish. I agree.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that we're standing on a ball, though.
Yep.
For Elon Musk to say that, he obviously doesn't understand the arguments. But whatever.
Well, Elon Musk convinced the world that there's a car in space right now. So,
yeah.
Who do we laugh at? Them or Elon Musk?
Right. Yeah. You know it's real because it looks so fake. One of the best things that's ever happened.
Yeah.
I got a tattoo about a year ago. The guy was highly rated in tattoo, and his photorealistic style was exactly what I was looking for to commemorate my mother's passing 20 years prior. While he is setting up, he puts on the TV, and the first thing that comes on is a YouTube channel about flat earth theories. What followed was the wildest 4 hours I have ever or had strapped into a chair with a man going at my arm with a device that stabs my skin hundreds of times per hour. What was craziest about him was he had his pilot's license. He flies an airplane. When he goes up, he can clearly see the curvature of the earth. Wrong. As he explained everything, though, it kind of made sense why he would believe it. I can't remember specifics, but I came to realize that all his points would make perfect sense if you were applying them to making three-dimensional art on a two-dimensional plane. It was pretty fascinating. Wonder what she means by that. That's weird. We're applying them to making three-dimensional art on a two-dimensional plane. No idea what that means. The tattoo ended up pretty sick, too. Yeah, I was wondering about that. He gave me a discount at the end because I guess no one actually listens to his rants patiently. Oh, she got a discount for watching. She got a discount for watching flat Earth videos. This is a good story. I like this one. But this thing about the pilots, this is funny. What's craziest was that he has a pilot's license. And we know that pilots say that there would be no difference between flying over a rotating globe with curvature and rotation than there would be flying over a flat Earth, because their model is their model of how the atmosphere works is essentially how it would work on a flat stationary plane. They literally fly the plane as if they're flying over a flat stationary plane, and then in their brain they add, that's where the curvature and the rotation is. They don't have to do anything when they're flying the plane in order to account for the fact that they're on a giant spinning ball. So that's not crazy at all. We've had quite a few pilots that have been flat earthers, haven't we? I think so. Anyway, this is interesting.
You know what? The ones that are professional, they're definitely not going to come out and say it. That's for sure.
Yeah, right. I doubt you'll find many, if any, reformed flat earthers. For people like that who are so entrenched within their ideology, the flat earth isn't just something they believe, it's who they are. They have flat earth friends, listen to the flat earth podcasts, watch flat earth YouTube, and wear flat earth clothes to their flat earth meetings.
That's a good one.
All right, yeah, I guess some of us that do that. Okay. Even if deep down someone like that had an epiphany and realized that they were wrong, imagine how hard it would be to reject all of these relationships, the community, and the friends that are held together because of that one common belief. It's similar to why it's so hard for people to leave cults or extremist religious or political groups. We've had people leave flat earth. There's flat earthers that have gone back to the ball who are still around. There's ball earthers who have left the globe and come back around to flat. There's flat earthers that what's his name?
They went back again and then went back again.
Yeah. Bandsaw Bandit. He was a flat earther, went to the globe, and now he's a flat earther again.
Yeah, shout out Bandsaw.
Brummy was a glober for a long time, and he was a vicious glober, man. He'd hang out in gems all the time, and he would just tear you apart.
I had it out with him a couple of times. Oh yeah. And now he switched.
He switched. Yeah. And he's still around. Still talking to the same globers a lot too. Funny enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I don't think we're a cult. I mean, we don't have a religious text, do we? What's our...
Definitely
no,
not.
we don't, man. We ain't claiming exactly. We don't know. I mean, the honest place is to admit that we're not 100% sure what the hell the Earth is. That's the only honest position to take, if you ask me.
They have a cult, if you ask me. Lemaitre, right? The cult inventor, or one of them, right? Their god, Helios, sun god, right? The Big Bang, just sheer belief. So who has a cult?
Yeah, and the globe model was developed by literal occultists, such as Newton, and others who were trying to find immortality, the key to immortality, the Philosopher's Stone, how to turn lead into gold, you know.
They actually believed, Brandon, that they were going to find immortality, and they got to it. They were saying they were one transaction away. Like they even have a certain metal that they came. It's crazy. It's sheer insanity.
Yeah, they were into some weird shit, man. Maybe they did find it and they just didn't share it with us. Who knows? So that's...
Yeah, but why would they lie?
Why would they? Yeah, good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that, Chad. I have an acquaintance I met in the Navy who joined specifically so he could see that the Earth was flat. Well, at sea. He joined the Navy so he could see if the Earth was flat. All right. Every day he would chart the ship's location, speed, heading. A few times a day so he could make a map of their path. Ultimately, he realized that the path the ship was taking would be impossible if the Earth was flat. How would that work? I wonder how that work.
Yeah, sure.
Based on
I was chatting with this guy, Brandon, a Navy guy, and he texted, like chatting on the text, and he said every night he was out on the boat and he could see easily 30 miles. Easily.
I believe it. Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories like that. And when it is clear, you can see that far. That's just a rare day, though. People underestimate how much the humidity and the other crap that's going on in the air can hamper your ability to see long distances. If you look at the visibility on your phone, it usually says only 10 miles or something. Like today, I'll look for in my area. It's kind of cold up here, but let's see what it says. Visibility, it says 10 miles today. It's usually what it is. It's around 10 miles. That's not a long way. So being able to see much further should be the rarer thing than being able to see very far, which is not what the Globers will have you believe. They would have you believe that you could see New York from England, that kind of thing, which is just ridiculous and impossible. When he finally got skeptical of the Earth being flat, his LPO went topside with him, it's Navy jargon, and pointed out the curvature by giving him binoculars and explaining if the Earth was flat, he should be able to see the land they were making for. He couldn't see anything off the horizon. After that, he was convinced. Well, we're just talking about visibility.
That sounds like a made-up story, bro. Like some writer wrote it.
Yeah, this one does sound like bullshit. I mean, the guy joined the Navy because he wanted to check to see if the Earth was flat. Why wouldn't you join the Air Force?
Yeah, exactly, bro. Yeah.
I don't know. And then he's sitting there every day charting the route of the ship, and what possibly could he have come to when he's charting this route that would tell him, "Yep, it's a ball and not flat." They don't. I noticed there's no details about that. Let's see. Edit. Since this got some traction, he didn't just take a cruise because he was convinced that if he wasn't part of the crew, the bridge crew would lie to him since they would be paid off by the government. Okay.
That's a good one. You know what I just thought of, Brandon?
What?
He didn't have to join the Navy. All he had to do was just check out what blue whales can do. I think a majority of them can. They can communicate thousands of miles in the ocean.
That's pretty amazing.
Right there, you spend all your time joining the Navy for nothing, bro.
Yeah, so this guy signed up for 4 or 6 years in the Navy because he wanted to he wanted proof that the Earth was flat. Maybe, I don't know. Dude ended up re-enlisting and is still in the Navy. He's a very successful machinist mate and a really good sailor. He now believes the Earth is a globe.
Color me skeptical that someone signed on for service for that one thing.
Yeah, right. Imagine him telling his mom and dad, "Mom, Dad, I'm joining the Navy." "Oh, really? Well, you never talked about being in the Navy before. Why are you going to join the Navy?" "I'm going to find out that the Earth is flat. I'm going to chart the course every day and figure it out."
I'm going to join a giant organization that's run by the government that absolutely has its own goals and initiatives and agendas to find out whether or not something is reality. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, this didn't happen, did it? That was a nice story.
I floated around in some water. Earth is sphere.
Yeah, exactly, Chad. My ex-husband is a flat earther. Literally nothing you can say to him will make him think otherwise, including that damn 15-degree drift. This was written by a troll. He acknowledges that he doesn't think like everybody else, but insists that everybody else is wrong. I can't tell you the countless hours that I wasted in YouTube rabbit holes with him, explaining the logistical ways the Earth is flat, and that there is an ice wall encapsulating us to prevent the oceans from pouring over. They are a different breed of people. Well, I mean, we might be a different breed of people. That might be true, but I feel like I'm somewhat normal. I don't know. You guys feel like you're normal people? I feel like a normal person for the most part.
Insane people feel they're normal too.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. George, you probably have some knowledge in that area.
Actually, I do, yeah.
Oh, you do? I was just joking, but what's your experience with crazy people?
Oh, used to go visit one of the wards with one of my medical professional friends.
The wards, meaning the psychiatric hospitals?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Did the rounds with him a few times.
You know, in Quebec, they call the psychiatric wards the pavillon des ovnis. It's where people see UFOs, les soucoupes volants. People who think we went to the moon. That's the pavillon des soucoupes, pavillon des ovnis.
It's actually quite an experience, Brandon. If you ever get a chance to do that, it really makes you wonder.
I bet it's amazing what
how,
people can
how
get.
haywire one's mind.
I don't think that's
how
accurate.
haywire a mind can go.
I don't think that crazy people do think they're normal. I don't think that crazy people are concerned with what's normal and what's not. I think that's what a normal person concerns himself with.
Yeah, of course, you know everything, Bob.
Are you calling
You
us,
know me?
George? Is that what you're calling us?
No, I wasn't calling you. I was just making a comment that
I'm pulling your chain.
everybody more or less thinks they're normal, no matter how abnormal you might actually be.
Do you think flat earthers are crazy, George?
No, I think they're misguided, but not crazy.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I think we think the same way about
I mean,
globe earthers. So.
you have a normal life, I'm sure. Your normal family life and other aspects of your life are probably really quite normal. And if we sat down, say for dinner, we'd probably have a good conversation. If as long as flat Earth, globe Earth didn't come up. If I'm sure you've got other interests that are quite mainstream.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure we would. All right, let's keep going. You're asking the wrong group of people. You'll only find people who make fun of flat earthers here. That's probably true. Let's see if there's any other good ones. Finally a question for me. I became a flat earther for quite a long time, and it was still surprising that I realized that flat earthers is just straight up stupid, because for me, the fact that we see the earth flat is because, it's an illusion of our eyes. That's a bad one. I think we've hit the bottom of the barrel here. But I wanted to show you something. I didn't get any real insights from that, but it was a good time killer. Chemo put out a video. I don't know if anybody's seen it. Let me share my screen. And it is from a launch that happened not too long ago. There's actually a link in here. We can go to the original when we want to. Spacewalking cosmonaut tosses tiny satellite into space for Peru. So it's the Peruvian Chasqui-1 nano satellite that we're going to watch get shot out. It was actually in
cool.
2014, actually. So you must have just came across this footage. Let me make this a little bigger. And we're going to watch them with no sound on. Sorry, Chemo. I'll put the link out, though. Toss this satellite out. All right, so here he's standing on the ISS, I think. He's got this little cube satellite in his hand right here to the right. Tosses it out there towards Earth. And then they cut to this shot.
He's a real tosser.
You notice anything?
Did you play the beginning of the video?
Yeah.
Brandon?
Are you watching it?
Where there was no Earth?
Well,
They got a clothesline out there.
yeah, I played it. No, here's the beginning of the video where he's holding the CubeSat. Right?
That's it. Yeah. You notice the darkness there?
Well, there's
Earth there.
Yeah, notice the Earth above the clothesline.
Then it pops
There's
up.
an Earth. There's an Earth. There's no Earth.
Watch. Keep watching.
No Earth. The Earth disappeared.
there must be a cutoff. Oh yeah, there is a cutoff here, just to be aware. It's letterboxed. Yeah. There it goes into blackness. But it looked like he threw it towards the earth. And here's a shot of it going towards Earth.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Where'd Earth go?
We were talking about it in Gems today. They were saying, they doctored it. It's a cutoff and this and that.
I went back to the original footage, interestingly enough. They think it's cut off. Oh, so okay, possibly.
That's what they were saying.
Yeah, that maybe that's possible. I could see somebody could do that. But I went back to look for the footage, and there was a link in here that was to the original footage, and it wasn't in there. Let me see if this opens up. Like, the video was gone. What's this? It's nothing. See? I don't think there's a real video anymore. Well, this is an awful website. I know there was a link. Click here for more space.com vids. Let me maximize this a little better. Maybe some of the stuff is hidden. There it is. Okay, video of Artemev tossing the satellite into space. And we'll open this. Gone. So it might be old. They might have just taken it down. It was 7 years ago that this was first posted. But I could not find the actual satellite. Now here's some more images. There's the image of the cube going off with no Earth. Is it
no Earth underneath it?
Is it the angle? It's got to be the angle, right?
It could be. It could be. It could be.
Maybe the Earth just isn't in the frame.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. It seems like it should be, but it's possible it's just the angle.
Why do you think it should be? I mean, what's the field of view that the Earth occupies at that altitude? And what direction are they facing?
Well, we can see it where he is. So here he is.
And what direction are they launched from?
I don't know if any of that matters. I'm just trying to figure out.
Sure, it does. If you're launching it like away from the Earth, then you'd be pointing that way, and you wouldn't see the Earth.
Yeah, I think we see him throw it towards the Earth.
Then why would you see it going towards the Earth after?
You guys just said that you don't see the Earth, and now you're saying you do see the Earth?
No. Don't backtrack. Answer my question.
Paying attention very well.
You said if he threw it away from the Earth, right? You said he threw it away from the Earth, right? Then why do we see it traveling towards the Earth after? And the next few frames.
You guys just said the Earth is not in the frame, and now you're saying that you do see it.
No, don't backtrack, dude.
Slow down.
Don't spiral.
Slow down, because you're not paying attention.
Did you not say that he threw it away from Earth? Yes or no?
No, I said maybe he is. To answer your
maybe
question.
now. Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm not done. Shut up when I'm talking.
You shut up.
No, you shut up.
All right, Gambino.
You shut up.
All right,
you shut up.
Chill out, man.
You stupid moron.
Oh shit.
Dumbass.
Now, this guy is a keyboard warrior. He thinks he's smart. So did you say that he threw it away? Yesterday. Yes or not?
Look, it's going out into blackness, right?
Did you say he threw it away or not from Earth?
Wait, Brandon, you just said that you can't see the Earth, or you can see it?
Why are you skirting my question, Gambino? You came in here hotshot.
I answered your question.
So what is it? Did he throw it away from Earth, yes or no?
I don't know. You said that you can't see the Earth.
So don't come here high and mighty, dude, okay?
Oh, I'm gonna kick your ass all up and down the street if you want.
Yeah. Anytime, dude. Anytime, keyboard warrior.
Yeah, come on.
Don't come here acting smart.
What you got?
Don't come here acting
I'll kick
smart.
your ass all up and down this chat, no matter what.
So anyway, here's what happens in the beginning. We see him. It would have been nice if you were paying attention before you just went at us. But so he
clothesline device there. See that clothesline thing in the earth above it? You know those things you whirl around in the backyard and hang your clothes on?
Yeah.
It's like an upside down little, and you see the earth. Now, when we go to the next scene, we see that little coat hanger and clothes dryer, but the earth is gone. It's not from a different perspective. The earth is simply gone, turned off, not on CGI anymore.
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out.
Turn the light off of the earth.
Maybe it's nighttime when it cuts. All right, so I'm just joking. He throws the cube out. Watch the cube, Gambino. So we'll back up for you.
Where the earth is.
So he throws it. It looked like he threw it towards the Earth. Now it's going out into space.
Antenna. The little clothes hanger. There's no Earth above it.
And they're gonna pan back. No Earth. Nope, no Earth.
Where did these go?
Where is Earth? That seems like a lot of space for Earth not to be in. And there's the cube going towards Earth.
Your video is all choppy. You got the source?
Well, that's what I said. I went to look for the source, and unfortunately, couldn't find it because the link in the
Earth was lost, but now
just see the YouTube video. Just link the YouTube video that you're watching.
That's like Amazing Grace for Earth. Earth once was lost, but now it's found. It disappeared. There's no excuse for that. And believe me, how
Or
accurate.
maybe you guys just don't know what the hell you're talking
Throwing a
about.
little square box out that's gonna, you know, topple end over end forever above the earth and communicate with people down below. Bullshit. Come on, guys, grow up.
Why is it bullshit?
So anyway, what's this link you put in the chat here, Gambino? You got another nano satellite video? Is this the same launch or is this different?
I don't know. It might be the same one actually, but it's a good example of launching a satellite from the ISS. It's not all chopped up and edited like Chemo does.
Why? Yeah, look at it. It's falling down towards the clouds. It's a nice one.
I don't know
We've
how
got a
you
really
determine
good one
that.
from
It's getting
Phil
away
where
from
we
the
see
camera,
them.
maybe, but I don't know where if it's falling down towards the clouds. I don't know how you determine that just from that video.
More like
Well,
they're
let's see
floating.
here.
Usually
Let's see.
objects
We see
point
them here.
down.
They're coming out, right? Now, which way are they going? Are they going towards Earth? Yes, they are going towards Earth. This isn't that high, by the way. This is not no fucking 300 miles up. You can see
You
the
can
outline of
determine
the
that.
cornfields. So,
I don't see any cornfields. I see clouds.
you didn't see any
There were
cornfields.
cornfields.
This is not 300 miles up.
So, do you see
Maybe
the? Do
one
you see
day.
the fields now?
Oh yeah, you can see that. Like
Lots and lots of fields.
Right.
yeah, you can see like different colors.
This is what it
the
looks like
surface,
out
yeah,
of
sure.
plane at 30,000 feet. So anyway,
Or from 300 miles when you zoomed in with the camera.
and these clouds, how high are these clouds? Because they look like they're really high. So here
Well,
it
this
goes
should
down.
be
Looks like
250
it's not
miles up.
So they're
What a bunch
looks
of
like they're
crap.
still falling
Yep.
towards
This
Earth.
is exactly what you would expect the thing to look like if it was in orbit. I don't understand
This is
what the-
exactly what I'd expect if you threw something out the back and it was going to open a
There's
parachute
no
or
air
something
resistance
at some point.
now. Look at the dynamics of it. There's no air resistance.
Right. Because we'd see that with something falling from a plane.
No, it's not tumbling like it's being hit by the air. It's not like spinning or having any aerodynamic drag.
Sure.
It's
sure.
like tumbling free frictionlessly.
Yeah, we can totally
sure.
tell that from the images that we see here. Totally. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
If you can tell
250
the
miles
altitude,
up.
Why can't I tell that?
That's totally
Brandon.
250 miles up.
Oh yeah,
Why don't
guaranteed
you measure it?
250.
Right.
Brandon, why don't you measure the
Oh
height
yeah,
of the
no
ISS?
air resistance yet on those puppies. Not at all. Oh, obviously not.
No, totally can tell that.
Brandon, why
You
don't
can
you measure
tell
the
that-
height?
Why don't I measure what?
How can you tell this?
The
It looks
height
like
of
they're
the
following
ISS.
just like some blimps or some
No.
little balloons.
I don't need to waste my time
They're
doing
not
that.
falling, they're floating.
Don't need to waste your time. You're just going to
No.
deny that it's 250 miles up.
They need
Okay.
to
These are
prove
floating.
that they can have space before they get us to argue about what's happening in space. They can't even
How would you
prove to
prove
us that they can
How
have.
would you like it proven?
Well, here's the problem
you-
too.
Are you
there's a
going to
big-
interrupt every single person when they talk because you're so butthurt?
There's a video issue here
Go ahead.
too.
Tell me how you would like
There's
to
a
prove it.
thing called depth of field and depth of focus. When the background is in focus, what's in the foreground is blurred usually a bit. When what's in the foreground
Maybe if you
is
had let me
focused,
finish,
what's
I would have
in the
told you
background
that.
is blurred. So this is very odd photography.
Jimbo, if you actually knew photography, you would know that.
Shut
depends
up,
on the focal
Gambino.
ratio.
Let Paige finish her sentence. Don't be
I'm
rude.
Shut up,
trying to
Seaman
get
Trail.
Jimbo.
I'll kick your ass. I'll kick all your asses.
That looks so fake.
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
you
yeah,
guys see
we're gonna
that?
kick all our asses.
Did you see that, SE? Look at this. They're gonna shoot these little things out of here.
Yeah. This is freaking La La Land. Look at that. Wow.
Give me a fucking break, man.
That's
Why
not
didn't they have
science.
the guy pitch it out? Like the other guy.
What the hell is
There's a
that?
different method. That is not a scientific debunk at all. Sorry.
I'm
They
not.
have no
You don't need. We don't need a
value to
scientific
even
debunk.
do
This
the
isn't
math
science.
there and
Fucking
all that
scientific
This is a
anymore.
propaganda
buddy.
video we're watching.
That's your
Actually,
opinion, but you have no
bling.
proof.
It is a scientific debunk. The
No,
things
we
they're
debunked
claiming isn't
R. You have
verifiable,
no
credible, or
R.
repeatable, therefore it's
Yeah, we do.
debunked.
It's been directly measured.
I have an
Black
RDRR.
Swan, dude, you have no R.
Is a black swan a real picture?
What the fuck? Are you going to go?
That's
CGI now,
How is it
really?
directly measured?
It's
Wait, back
really
up.
so
It's directly
counterproductive.
measured.
I don't know why it's being tolerated.
It's just optics, Paige. We have to
Yeah, I
ignore
don't
it.
either.
So detrimental to this chat and the conversations. Why let it continue this way? I don't get it.
Because
Why
it's
are there so many people
interesting,
talking?
and we don't need to just throw anybody out that's annoying for the
but
slightest
it's like
bit.
incessant abuse. There must be a way to have an ebb and flow. I'm not saying throw anyone out, but just sort of like, just each one have a turn or something.
No, I agree with
That's
that. Yeah, we could stop stepping on each other and stop over talking each other. I mean, you'll get plenty of time to speak your mind, Nerfer.
Yeah, I just get interrupted whenever I talk. That's okay.
No, you interrupted
Okay,
me.
all right.
Literally, the first thing I said, you interrupted me.
Let's not do this meta conversation about who interrupted who. Let's just all agree not to interrupt each
This guy
other.
made a comment, y'all. Everybody, this guy made a comment that he's direct.
Okay, let's not interrupt each other. Come on.
Oh, for fuck's sake. See, it's just a big joke to these people. It's just all a big joke.
It is. It is.
Well, I'll tell you what's a big joke is this footage right here. This is pretty funny.
Why?
Well, I've already
You're very
stated
quiet,
several times why.
You have nothing except I don't think it's real. That's nothing. That's not substantial.
That's pretty much all I need, but this is not a shot from 250 miles up.
I don't think anything that you present is substantial or real.
I only need to say no.
That's fine.
So anything you present is fake. That's because I think so.
Fantastic.
Okay, cool.
Black Swan's fake.
Is that valid logic?
CGI.
Yes,
And why are
absolutely,
you
100%.
here?
Which one of us is right?
Yes.
We're here
You guys think
because
that's valid logic?
we expect
That
better.
is absolutely valid logic. Yes, 100%. It is absolutely valid. In fact, if you took what we said and presented as true simply because we presented it or said it, you would not be a logical person. You would be mentally retarded. So yes,
So how do we
that
find
is.
the truth? So how do we determine which one of us is right?
Yeah, exactly. How do you determine that? It's
How?
very simple.
I'm
Verifiable,
asking you. Go ahead.
credible, and
Yeah.
repeatable.
Okay, this video is all of that.
No, it's not.
Yes,
In
it
fact,
is.
because it's
Oh
a
my
video,
God.
it can't be any of those things
Why not?
because you weren't there taking the video.
I
like a
put a satellite in orbit.
That's not.
No,
you didn't.
I did.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
Oh my God, why
Okay.
are we even
This
doing
guy's a waste of time.
Pointless.
Just throw.
He's
If I was
pointless.
Brandon, I'd just throw him out. He's a waste of time.
He
I don't
wants
believe
to
him.
wait.
Relax.
He wants to take up the
You-
time.
Guys. I'll throw him out when I'm ready to throw him out. Let's let Bob and him go back and forth for a minute. Go ahead.
You can't just say no, you didn't. Like
Yes,
you
yes, I
didn't do
can.
anything to
No, you
confirm
didn't.
anything you
Right there,
say.
I just said it again. No, you didn't.
That's not a valid argument.
Yes, it is. Do you want to know why?
No.
Because you
Why?
haven't shown it to me verifiably, credibly, and repeatedly. You've just made a claim. Therefore, I have every right and obligation, actually, if I'm going to be intellectually honest, to deny, decline, and absolutely not believe what you're telling me until you show verifiable, credible, repeatable evidence. So in this case, you claim you put a satellite in space. No, you did not, until you show me verifiably that you did. That's going to involve you taking me to the satellite and letting me watch you go into space.
And
with
your
it
standard of
into
evidence
space.
is ridiculous, right?
Oh, Roo here.
How come you?
Oh,
How come
Paige!
you don't apply the standard of evidence to everything else?
Oh,
How come
you
you
had
don't
to be
apply
the
the standard
first
of
one,
evidence to the
didn't
Black
you?
Swan picture?
Nothing
How come you don't
stopping
apply
you
this to the
from-
Black Swan
nothing
picture?
stopping you
All
from
right,
going
go, hey, let's let Bob answer that. Hey, Bob, shut the fuck up, Nidhug. Let's let Bob answer that. Bob, why don't you apply that standard of evidence to the Black Swan photo?
I apply that standard of evidence to anything that someone is attempting to convince someone else of, no matter what you believe about the shape of the earth. It doesn't matter who you are or what you're trying to claim. If you're trying to convince someone else, that is the standard of evidence, period.
Okay, so do you think people have gone to Antarctica?
Do I think that people have gone to Antarctica?
Is it proven to you with this standard of evidence?
No, absolutely not. Has not been proven to me.
Okay, do you think people have been to the top of Mount Everest?
It hasn't been proven to me. No.
So you actually are not convinced that anyone has made it to the top of Mount Everest?
An eternal skeptic.
Convinced? No, I'm
Hey,
not
photos
convinced
there,
of
right?
that at all. Absolutely
That's
not.
interesting.
Yeah.
So you really
That's
think
not
that
what
like
he's
all these things are
saying.
fake?
Listen.
That's
Hey, shut up.
not
just in
what
case you're
he's
confused.
saying.
Just
He's
in case you're
literally
confused.
skeptical of everything he hasn't done himself. That's
It
exactly
is
what
not
Yeah,
my
and
job.
that's a ridiculous burden of
Look,
evidence.
tell us
to
how
carry
you
through
launched
life.
the satellite in space that you said before. I'm interested. Please tell us how you did it.
On a rocket.
You launched the satellite in space?
No, the rocket did. I can't
No,
do it
but you
myself.
said before, that's why I said you were a clown and I told him to throw it. I don't believe I ever said that because I don't believe he should throw you out. We should laugh at you. But you said that you launched the satellite in space.
Yes. I have a satellite in orbit right now.
Wow.
What's its
man.
number?
It's called
Can I look it up?
STF-1.
So
Now, you
everybody
know some
heard this,
people
right?
that launch
Everybody
the
heard
thing
this,
up in the
guys.
air.
STF1.
Yeah, here,
What's
I'll link
it,
you like the pictures we took.
Yeah, what's its number?
Oh, I have to look that up, actually. The NORAD Celestrak number.
Yes.
He doesn't seem particularly interested in pursuing our conversation further.
I'm doing it right now. Look, I'm going to link you the proof.
How about you prove R before you assume orbits and
Stop interrupting.
space and shit?
This does
Excuse me,
prove it.
I'm in this conversation too. Nobody else was talking, so I
Not
asked
changing the topic
questions.
yet.
Stop being
Hey,
so goddamn rude.
I can go ahead and post a link.
Pull
also.
your fucking head
I can link
in.
you the web address to download Minecraft. Does that prove flat Earth?
No, because it's not verifiable in reality.
That's right. Thank you.
This is, though. You can get the signal yourself with the ground station.
What does the satellite do?
It takes pictures and it runs some technology demonstration demos. There's
This
a
guy
huge
obviously-
website that explains it.
This guy spent a shitload of money to get a balloon launch, and
How do you know it's a balloon?
He can't.
No, he's talking about
Well,
Mage. I think.
I don't. That'd be my guess. You sound angry, and so anybody who questions the money you spent pisses you off.
He knows it's a balloon the same way you know
Yeah,
it's not a balloon.
Fluffer,
and
you
it's
sound
insane.
incredibly angry.
I would be
Right,
mad
I can hear
too, brother,
rage,
if I spent millions of dollars and found out they could do it for a few thousand, I'd be mad too, brother.
Ruhif, he's a troll. He's not angry. He's a troll.
Oh, shut up, Seaman Trail. Kick your ass.
Yeah, kick your ass, everybody. That's what he does.
Yes. Kick all your asses.
So
Sounds
Here,
like a
I'll
gross
give you
person.
the coordinates.
Hey, Fluffer, you must have some pictures of you with the rocket before you launched it. You working on it? You have any? Can you show us anything like that?
PD on the rocket? No, that was Rocket Labs that did that.
are you the one who works at
Must have
NASA,
some, like-
Flurfer Nerfer, or is that the other one?
I don't know who the other one is.
Paid NASA show
So,
you're
do
talking
you
about?
work at NASA?
I do.
Okay, then that was you.
You work at
I don't know
NASA.
what you're referring to.
Yeah, right.
Oh dear.
What's so hard to believe about that?
See, that's not hard to believe at all. You think about the
Isn't
kind of people that they would want working for them. He's exactly
engineers?
what they want. So
Aerospace
people who
engineers?
will not question, just do what they're told.
Yeah.
The fact
Thank you
that
for
the
correcting.
satellite is in
Just
orbit
bright enough
proves
to
everything I'm saying.
work the machinery, but not bright enough to figure out
Yeah, I stand
what's
corrected.
going on.
Paige. He is the perfect candidate. Thank you for correcting me. Thank you,
Are
thank
you
you.
guys just jealous that you couldn't work there?
I'm a little surprised by the way you act, that you would,
No,
publicly
sweetie, I
state
don't
that
want to
you
give
work
up my life to
for
work 9 to 5 for someone.
that you work for NASA, and then you would come in here and behave like this, kind of rude and.
Oh, I'm just fighting against
Obnoxious.
all the anti-intellectualism that you guys.
Oh, tell us what anti-intellectualism. What does
So
that
you're
mean?
the one being nasty and hateful and stopping an intellectual conversation from happening because you keep just being stupid, but we're the ones.
What do you have for that conversation? I haven't seen anything yet.
What does anti-intellectualism mean?
It's a school of thought where you dismiss obvious facts.
Stop being so fucking angry, Fluffer Nerfer.
Give us
Are you
the
the right?
obvious fact and
That there's a satellite in orbit. You guys use satellites every day.
yes,
Have you used
Satelloons.
GPS? How do you
So
know it's a
what?
satelloon? Why do you think that?
Because
me a
NASA's the
video of
biggest
it.
user of helium in the world,
What do they use it
and
for?
we have
What do
video
they
of
use it
them
for?
being launched, falling down. See, you would not even let me get a response out to you without interrupting me and asking like 3 more scattergun questions.
One point at
You're
a time.
so
One point at a time.
butthurt, dude. You've just
talk about helium.
calm the fuck down.
Why is
Calm down,
Calm
Fluffer
down.
It's
It's
Nerfer.
not
Relax,
that.
dude.
Let's talk about the helium. What do they use the helium for?
The balloon, the satelloons.
know
What
this?
else would they?
How do you know this?
Dude,
Why do you say this?
because they show us them launching them, going and getting them. They show you what they do with them. You can watch videos from them showing you what they do
Is that
with all this
verifiable?
stuff.
Are you up there with the balloon? Is that verifiable?
Are you going to act like they don't have balloon satellites?
Are you going to
Yes,
act like they
yeah.
don't have real satellites?
Dude, I
Great call,
can't.
Fluffer Nerfer.
I can't prove to you anything, okay? Because I'm not you. So, for me, when I put all the pieces together and look at the picture as a whole, rather than looking at one piece at a time, I can go, yeah, it ain't a ball. It's not moving. Nah, it can't be.
Yeah, that requires ignoring reality, but I want to know how you know.
No, it doesn't,
that...
because what I see is flat and what I feel is nothing. So my reality on a day-to-day basis, when I go out in the boat or when I'm on the river, on a canoe in the river or whatever, everything's flat and stationary. And, I look at the stars at night and they're going around me. The sun looks like it's moving across the sky to me.
How do you know it's flat?
Yes, absolutely it is. Earth measure, the science of Earth measure, absolutely is proof to me.
The science of Earth measurement is geodesy, which says it's a sphere.
Not according to the word geometry.
Yeah, of course it does.
Very good
Geometry.
Go ahead, Ruha.
Yeah, geometry. If you just take an assumption, Paige, if you take an assumption that water is flat into your geometry, then of course your result is going to be water is flat, right? Take something from the real world correctly into geometry and then prove it. And you can't, right? Anyway, question for Ute.
Talking about
yes, I can. Can I hang on? No. Don't you just carry on as if I'm not allowed to respond. Every single time. No, I'm getting sick and tired of being pushed around by these guys.
Yeah. Okay, go.
We show them water levels. We show them how in geometry you can extend that horizontal line indefinitely. We show them canals that are hundreds of miles long, no locks. There is absolutely no more that needs to be shown, but for some reason,
hey, wait a minute.
Somehow, if you put these 100-meter lengths together, you've got they are straight, but then the next one won't be the same horizontal. So it's like a soccer ball with little
water levels don't give you horizontal.
They do, Ruhi, if we build stuff dependent on that. We have every building in the world ever built demonstrates this, Ruhif.
How?
My God, man.
Buildings.
I saw you do that.
Kidding me? Show me a building that they've built with a curved bum using the water level curving.
Tunnels have to account
for curvature. Show me anything that's been built to have a slight curve or something with a water level. Show me some practical use of that, of your eventually curving water level. Oh, would you, dude? Would you just shut up?
I'm answering your question.
Can I ask you the question?
I'm asking Ruhiv.
Hang on. It's all right. I'll ask it in chat. It's all right.
Go ahead.
I give up. I give up.
So anyway, so that's that satellite video. If I have heard any arguments that the Earth should be in there or shouldn't, but I don't know. Seems pretty interesting that it's not in the photo here in the middle or the shot in the middle. Maybe it's just right out of screen, right?
It does look like they were zooming in on it. So it's probably out of frame.
Yeah, maybe.
Look at the angular size of the CubeSat and it gets bigger.
Right. Well, it seems like it's headed straight towards Earth, doesn't it?
No, they don't launch them that way. They launch them retrograde.
We're watching it literally go straight towards Earth.
So it wasn't going down? What we just saw, it wasn't going down.
No, it's just going away from the camera.
Conserving momentum, I gather?
It's just going away from the camera is all you can tell there.
And the camera,
okay. You work for NASA, right?
The camera's.
I'm asking you a
hold on, Essie. The camera's pointed at Earth. We see between us and Earth the satellite. The satellite is moving away from the camera. Is it going towards Earth or not?
It looks like it's pointing to the back of the space station, actually.
Go ahead, Essie.
He's got pretty bad spatial awareness.
This guy, I told you guys, he's a troll. He's a troll.
I wouldn't want to be a passenger in a car with him if his spatial awareness is like that. Wow.
At home, did you have nothing?
Let me ask you a question, Mr. Satellite.
No, that's not. It's evident by what you're saying that you can't tell that that's moving towards the Earth. Like what?
Okay, Paige. Since you think the Earth is flat, then you're an idiot. That's the same logic. Is that valid logic?
It doesn't even
Using
make
your
any
logic,
sense.
is that okay?
It doesn't make sense, dude.
It's the same thing that she just said.
It just doesn't.
It's the same thing. She made an assertion based on
Any
something.
logic at all.
No.
Dude,
the same
dude,
thing.
you can call me whatever you want. It's water off a duck's back. Like, I don't understand. You guys actually think it matters to us,
Same for
these
you, then.
things that you
Same
say.
thing for your statement.
Like,
Okay.
dude, I don't think
No,
the
I don't
Earth's
care what
flat.
you think
I
about my
know
area.
that water lies level and horizontal in large bodies when
could you know that?
undisturbed and at rest.
That doesn't-
I know.
How do you know that?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
I know. I've proven it to myself.
Do it in a
Through
verifiable way.
geometry and water, I have proven it to myself. I've tried to explain
have
it
a
to you. You
mistraceable
don't
surface plate.
understand. I can't do any more. And if
So here's how you'd
all
have
you
to
want to
prove
do
it,
is
Paige.
come here and call us names, well, that just shows that you're just kind of sad. That's all.
Here's how you would have to prove it. Take a NIST traceable surface plate.
This
That's the
is
size
how
of the
I
ocean.
would have to prove it. I've already proven it to myself, dude.
Wait, let's hear his.
anyone else?
Let's hear his
You need
method.
to prove it to yourself.
Let's hear his method. What's your method for
I have to
proving
prove it
it?
to myself, and it's not flat.
Let's
Then
hear
why
your,
are you here?
Let's hear his method. What's your method?
If you
Yeah,
want
no,
to prove that large bodies of water are flat, then you have to get a surface plate that's NIST traceable down to a micron or less, half a micron, and compare it to the surface of the water. Otherwise, you have nothing.
Sorry, Brandon, I couldn't help.
No, I don't. I've got geometry and water levels
That doesn't
and the
prove it.
surface of
What's a micron?
water. That is enough. That's all I need
That doesn't
for
prove what
proof
you're
for
saying.
myself.
Okay, but that's not verifiable in a scientific way.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
All right.
Down to the
Brandon,
micron.
honestly,
I'm gonna Google this.
like,
He's
hold it
how
he's
much
just
more
making an
dishonest
ass
does
out
this
of
guy
himself.
have to get? Yeah, he is.
Just using your
Like,
standard of proof.
No,
No, you're not.
Yeah, you're the ones who said verifiable.
No,
and scientific.
you're getting ridiculous. Like, who couldn't
bullshit.
verify water and water levels? Like, are you
You.
kidding me? You want
can't
us
prove it's flat.
to believe you about space somewhere none of us can go, but then tell me that my water and water levels can't be verified. Really?
If Earth is a sphere with gravity, then what you're describing would be true.
It's not a sphere with gravity.
But if it is, your water level thing would behave the way you're describing it. So you can't use that as proof of anything.
Then you need to prove that.
No, I don't. Just like you don't have to prove the thing I asked you to prove. Same thing.
Fine. Then be
Okay.
happy. Go away.
Okay, well then Earth is still a globe.
This
and-
community is for talking about, figuring out new ways to think about things and ways to test the things that we think we already know. Not just be told we're stupid for not just accepting it. Like,
I'm not saying that.
What are you
saying
even here for?
To tell you that you're dumb for denying reality.
Yeah, exactly. Spot on, mate. Thank you for just telling everybody.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you guys, honestly, you're pathetic. I really do feel for you. Like, wow.
Yeah, I muted him. That's enough. He's just intolerable. You guys were right. I gave him too much of a chance, but it's just like, what's the point of talking to him?
I'm happy to have a back and forth conversation with him. I keep trying to answer him and I keep trying to give him explanations, but every time his response is something ludicrous. He's blowing things way out. He's twisting words. He's making things sound not the way, I'm
And
meaning
he's
it.
confusing two very different subjects. One is what you decide to trust or believe personally for your own self, and the other is what you're trying to convince somebody else of. Those are two entirely separate situations and would require two entirely separate standards for evidence, for proof.
Yes,
You don't have
definitely.
to provide
Thank
anything
you.
compelling to anyone else for you to think something yourself. You just have the right to think that because you're a human with free will. That's your right. That's your God-given right to think whatever you want about anything that you want. You don't have to prove it to anyone. It's when you want to convince them of that idea, that's when the standard is verifiable, credible, and repeatable. I can believe whatever I want about Mount Everest and who's been up there. I can believe whatever I want about Antarctica or outer space or any of those things. My own personal self, I don't have to prove that to anyone. I have no obligation to provide them any compelling evidence for anything that I believe myself. But if I try to convince them of it, that's when the standard comes into the picture. That's when I need to meet the standard to convince them.
Well said, Bob. Yeah, just it's interesting why some people feel the need to spend so much time trying to belittle and ridicule and convince us that we're stupid or dumb or that the Earth's a sphere like they think. I don't understand what motivates that kind of behavior. I'm cool, you know, if you want to have a conversation about it, that's cool, but I don't go out of my way to find globe earthers and call them dumb and ridicule them and try to get them to think the Earth's flat. So I don't know why you guys are doing that.
Well, think about this. In warfare, does the person...
Mic check. What's going on, everyone?
Hey, Matrix.
Hello.
Who was that?
Hey, Matrix.
Does the person who's considering where they're going to spend their time and their forces and their strategies, how they're going to make these decisions, are they spending a whole lot of time on the small little communities that can't rise up against them, that can't defend themselves, that have basically offered no threat to them whatsoever and have no clear path to offer a threat to them? Or is the strategist going to spend their time worrying about the group of people that very clearly poses a threat and seems to even have maybe a plan and an army ready for an attack?
I mean, it's quite obvious that we pose a threat to them because we undermine their very whole institution. Just to even admit one of the things that we claim is to dissolve their whole institutions.
Yeah, it's
that's,
to pull that
that's
thread
TV
that
shows,
starts the whole
that's
jumper unraveling.
universities, that's government grants. You're talking about having to rebuild an entire structure.
If we had absolutely nothing, they would not be spending their time on us. So we must have something. Whatever that is, there must be something. Of course we have something.
This is why they literally waste their life being on these servers arguing from 11 in the morning to 11 a.m. And you know, that they can't say they don't have an interest.
All right, from when to when?
You don't waste your time on something like that and say that it doesn't mean nothing to you.
From when to when?
Oh, he's just making broad, sweeping statement. You know, we all know boards spend a lot of time.
24/7. 24/7. The same characters on here every day arguing the same shit.
That amount of time arguing in any other subject that they disagree with. Like, say they believe in evolution. They don't go to webs. They don't hunt down people who believe we were created, you know, by God like 6,000 years, 7,000 years ago, whatever they reckon.
What I used to do.
You know? Sorry?
That's exactly what I used to do.
Oh my God.
Hang on.
So you jumped from harassing people about their belief of when we were created to harassing people about their belief in the shape of what they're walking on.
Harassing
well, that's
PhD
what you just said.
No, I didn't say that. I harassed a PhD geneticist.
Oh! Why?
Because he's lying. So I call him out on it. Hang on, NZ.
How can you prove that?
Prove that he's lying?
So, yeah.
I forced him into a retraction.
It seems like if you disagree with the mainstream media, then you're either a conspiracy theorist or a liar.
Forcing somebody into a retraction is not equivalent to proving that they lied.
In this particular case, it was. So
political pressure forces people into retractions all the time. That doesn't mean that what they said was untrue or not a good thing. What it means is they had pressure put on them that they didn't want to deal with, so they retract it.
Yeah, they had pressure from freaking Nature Journal. That's who.
Okay.
So, what are your opinions on things like the Piltdown Man and shit?
I've no idea.
Your side lying. Blatant lies in textbooks for 30 years. What have you got to say about that?
That's generous.
Oh, I think one of them was...
study genetics.
Sorry?
I have barely recall Piltdown Man. I know it was a hoax, but I don't care. I study genetics.
What is that? What is that? What is that you do
your
when you say
problem
that you
was that
study
he was
genetics?
lying. They were lying. So why don't you have as big a problem?
Oh, if they're lying,
that-
obviously they're called out. And from what I remember of it, they did get called out by actual scientists.
My God, that just amazes me.
Real Hip, last night
Let's
we...
go over this statement that they keep saying, actual scientists. What is a scientist? What does a scientist actually do?
No, I mean scientists that are in the field that you're basically questioning, right? It's policing their own, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, all right. Would you say a physicist is a scientist?
Sure.
How about a chemist?
Physics is not a science.
So in one way or another, aren't we all scientists? Don't we all conduct experiments and do calculations every day, not on pen and paper, but when you cross in the street and it's very busy and you have to jaywalk? Isn't that a calculation that you're making real quick that might cost you your life?
And then you just defeat the whole purpose of having a word scientist. You've just diluted it by 1,000 times.
Again, but I ask you, what is a scientist? What does and overall, in reality and truth, what does it mean to be a scientist?
That's a good thing, by the way.
What do I think when I say the word scientist? I mean someone that is
I mean, what does it mean? Like when you say, "Oh, a scientist said," what does it mean in when it comes to reality? What does the word of a scientist have to mean? Does he have a bigger grasp on reality than everybody else? Because he's a
person who
physicist
works in a particular field of science.
Yeah, when I say scientist, I mean someone that is
every
trained.
particular field. Just because somebody is a master physicist or whatever you call it, doesn't mean he knows everything about every other topic. Therefore, he is more qualified than anybody else to comment.
Of course, he doesn't know everything about.
So why you guys keep using this scientist as if it's an all-encompassing thing?
Oh, hey, Phil, your mic's a little low.
But there might be something that somebody's found. There might be something that somebody's found, relatively recently that changes the entire foundation of what they've built their, theories around. And, what if that's true? What if, what you've built is the foundation's completely wrong, but you just won't look at an alternative?
Whenever people get it wrong, eventually science gets it right. Okay, eventually
I would hope so.
Keep looking until they find what it really is.
Professor Phil, science is a method. How could science get anything right or wrong?
If you spend a whole bunch of time getting it wrong, how would you ever know when you got it right?
Well, can you explain to me what is science? Can you explain to me what is science?
Who told you that? Was it QE?
Probably.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, I could ask you guys, what is a Christian? And you guys will fight amongst yourselves about the definition of a Christian. Oh, he accepts this and he accepts that, and therefore he's not a real Christian.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same argument, right?
Well, no, it's not the same argument because Christians aren't claiming to be scientific.
Yeah, but Christians tell other
completely-
Christians
it's a
that they're not
completely
Christians, right?
different, argument. It's possibly one of the most different arguments you could come up with is scientist versus Christian. What is a scientist? What is a Christian? One is a group of people claiming to be scientific. One is a group of people absolutely not claiming to be scientific at all about their beliefs.
What is your beef with scientific?
Yeah, that's true. No, science is great. We love science.
Categories.
Yeah, sometimes some of us practice it, Paige.
Yes, I know you do, Phil. I understand that you guys, what you do, what you think you're doing, you think is real. I understand that. I don't agree.
It's tested.
Oh,
all
so
scientific... Go ahead.
So producing a new polymer is not real?
No, not those parts. Those parts are all real. You know, they probably go through 95% of the rigmarole, get it, you know,
The parts
almost
that you can
do
verify
everything they have to do.
physically are real.
Paige, do you think
No, I'm very glad they do these things. I'm very glad.
Paige,
No, I appreciate real science.
Is this kind of confusing scientism with engineering?
Yeah, what I don't appreciate them is them teaching my children about space when they can't even prove it, you know? That's what it is. When
So
not to my satisfaction, they can't.
Well, you're
And
right.
then they're my children at the end of the day, aren't they?
Not to your satisfaction. That's what
Yeah,
flurfism
and not
is.
to a lot of people's satisfaction.
That's the
Yeah,
satisfaction.
setting your standard of evidence ridiculously high.
Your satisfaction. That doesn't even make good sense.
Well, I just think you're gullible for not putting your standard of evidence up high enough.
Yeah, but you're a flat earther page. I'm fucking nothing.
Yeah, so I expect high standards. Gee, sorry for having high standards for myself. I should apologise for that, shouldn't I?
Gives you a horizontal.
Fuck
You can't
me, talk about
demonstrate
tall poppy syndrome, Ruhif.
Yeah. Come on, you poor
Well,
cock.
it is. You're literally doing tall poppy syndrome on me.
Paige,
I have to Google
can I
it
ask
now.
you a question? Do you have a spectrometer in your house?
No, Phil.
Then that sort of science is not available to you. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
No, excuse me. Yes,
Because
it
I
is
have
because
one.
I can get on the
Actual
internet.
science isn't available because she doesn't have one device that you named. Are you kidding me, dude? You are twisted.
I can learn anything on the internet that
I think they use
anybody
it to
teaches in any school.
They use that word to an extreme to almost demean humans, like as if we're not capable of conducting thoughts and experiment on our own without having to be scientists.
You're not capable of doing that. You're not capable.
You're telling me the person, whoever invented the wheel, if this story is true, you're telling me at the moment he was conducting science or not figuring something out of necessity?
Paige.
See, how much of a humanitarian is Rumpus that he comes in and helps us when he thinks we're so retarded? We're incapable of doing these things.
And isn't it amazing how we manage to have
Sorry,
all
Phil.
their
Go
attentions,
ahead.
how we own their time, and it's so unimportant, but everything we do, they have to be involved. That's very weird to me.
We're just trying to banish ignorance and stupidity in science deniers.
Science
But
deniers.
if so, then you would leave the internet, Rumpus, because you're the biggest idiot of us all.
Well, it was quite clear that's not the case. You don't understand science. You're a reality denier. We can do an IQ test.
Okay, enough. Phil was going to say something productive, I think. This is just devolving
Hey
into
guys,
attacks.
We'll see who's the biggest idiot.
guys. All right. Listen up. Can we all please not cut it off with the ad homs and calling each other whatever, science denier or liar, whatever. Let's just try to have a civil conversation. I do have a question to ask of Phil. How's it going, Phil? It's been a while since you've been on the live show.
I was going to, if this is about the satellites, I was going to tell you that if it's the same setup as ours, we have two cameras either side in the payload bay, so that one side is facing towards the Earth, you can actually see the Earth, and the other side is away from the Earth. So even though you can see a satellite heading off, you can't actually see the Earth. So it depends on which camera is being switched in or not. And when the satellite's heading towards, it looks like the satellites are falling towards the ground, but they're not. Okay, they're actually in orbit.
That's what I was going to ask you about, because I'm sharing my screen.
To look at.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
I'm sharing my screen right
I
now.
agree, it does look strange.
And there's one particular part in here. You watch these satellites come out or whatever. They fall towards these clouds, and
it looks like that. Yes.
At one.
In fact, in my video from the PSLV C-48, it just really does look like they are falling towards the ground, but they're not. They're obviously going into orbit.
In fact, you can see one of them go under. I assume these are clouds, right?
Yeah, they're not going into they're not falling into the ground.
Boy, you could have fooled me, because it looks like it's going right underneath this cloud.
Yes,
I mean,
optics can do that.
It disappears right under the cloud. You can actually see it through the cloud. It's partially concealed by the cloud. Look at this. You can
Brandon,
partially see
optics
it.
can do that to you, okay?
Okay, but you can see it. See, watch. Bam.
Brandon,
Partially
you
concealed
just
by
asked
the
me
cloud.
somebody who-
Behind.
Brandon,
Yeah.
I know this intimately, okay?
Yeah.
You're talking to the person who does this.
Yeah.
So stop talking nonsense.
So
I'm giving
even
you
though
the
it looks
information.
like it's
Okay,
going
I'm
straight
just trying to
down,
clarify.
obviously going into
but you're
orbit,
just talking
isn't it?
nonsense.
Because it looks
No, it's
like
not nonsense,
falling
Phil.
straight down.
They sure the
Phil,
hell look
what
like
is
they're
your vote
falling.
on this, please, so I
It's not
can know?
nonsense.
Hey,
Sorry.
Brandon, just think about it a minute. Why would
Why
you
don't you guys
try to
recognize
launch a
perspective when you
satellite
see it?
towards the ground? You want it to be in orbit about the Earth. You're not going to have it go towards the Earth when you're launching it.
That's a good. Yeah, that's exactly it. So why does it appear that they are falling towards the Earth?
Well, there must be an explanation
Yeah,
other than they're actually
just
launching
the
it
optics.
towards the Earth.
It's perspective. This is
Maybe.
actually perspective. Why don't you guys recognize perspective when you see it?
Oh, tell me about how this is perspective. There, paid NASA show.
It's perspective when it appears to go down from the viewpoint.
It appears to go between the viewer and the Earth towards the Earth. That's perspective. It appears to go under a cloud and you can't see it anymore.
No, I think it just gets too small to see. It's not as though it's a big object. It's just a few pixels, and I think there's an illumination issue.
Well,
It's just become so small that there's a certain amount of light has to land on it for you to be able to see it. And it just gets so small and blurry, it just disappears. It doesn't go underneath the cloud. It just becomes invisible at that distance.
Let's make
This
it.
is zoomed,
Let's make it
this is
bigger.
zoomed in a lot.
Watch these fall.
So like things do when we're looking
Ready?
out towards the horizon.
Here we go. Looks like. Oh, now it's behind the cloud. See that?
Well, no, it's just disappeared.
Yeah,
It hasn't
disappeared
gone
behind the cloud. Ready?
No, it hasn't disappeared behind the cloud. You can see it's
that's what
getting
I
small there.
see with my eyes. I mean that we
yeah,
can
it's
explain that
disappeared.
away however we want, but
You ever hear of optical
behind the
illusion?
cloud.
No.
Right there, it's behind the cloud.
Smaller and smaller.
I can.
You're not
Oh,
a
it is
scientist.
true.
You can't make determinations.
And then eventually it becomes too small to see. Or does it differentiate between that and the cloud?
That's a good story.
But it's getting. Does it not?
Or it's
occur
going
to you
behind the
that's getting
cloud.
Very
Do it
small.
again, yeah.
See,
Look.
can you-
There,
you can
there,
see
yep.
it's
You can see the
smaller
cloud going
and
over it.
fainter, and then it disappears. Well, that's what happens when things get sufficiently far away from you.
You mean you're talking this pixelated video is proof that everything's fake, right?
Is that what I said? Nice straw man. So
No,
anyway,
it's what you're implying.
let's watch it one more time. Ready?
You would have a
the
case
first
Watch it
time
go
you
behind the
plug
cloud.
in, you-
Bam.
and it disappears.
You can see it
straw
partially
man.
through the cloud, and then it's gone under the cloud.
I don't need to strawman you,
It's just
Paige. You
small.
do it well enough yourself. Thank you.
That's like saying, if you go far enough away from an ant,
No,
you can't see
Tom.
it, therefore
It literally
it's been
doesn't
hit by something.
import
No, it's just got too small to see. It's very simple.
Well, that's one theory, or it's actually going behind the cloud as it appears to in the video.
Yeah, but we know that doesn't happen because we've got ground bases that we had the guy from NASA who's got his own satellite, and you can communicate with it. We know the ISS is there. We know there are satellites up there. You can actually communicate with them and see the ISS, so we know they're there. So you know,
who are you gonna believe, me or your lion eyes? That's what you're saying.
Funny how we can't validate any one of those things.
Hey, that was an Eagle song.
now you can see the ISS, matrix.
Your
Plenty of
lion
submarines up there.
eyes.
That's no problem.
No,
We can
mate,
have
you deny-
we can
you
have
can go out and see the
satellites in
ISS
low Earth
yourself.
orbit on a flat Earth.
You can
Doesn't
go.
No,
prove
you cannot.
Earth
Matrix.
visible.
Why
No,
do
you
deny
cannot,
that?
Paige.
Do you deny you can see the ISS, Matrix? You've gone quiet.
I mean, we can definitely see something in the sky, but
Right.
whatever it is,
So you
It's
agree
not
then?
going into the clouds.
there's a lot of things in the sky.
Right. Okay, Matrix. So
Okay,
you agree
there.
then
It's
there's
in
something
front of the
sky.
cloud. It's halfway
And-
behind the cloud. You can still see it. The cloud's in front of it.
It's not.
Small.
It's
No, you can see it
gone,
gets
and you
small.
can't see it anymore.
It
It's
behaves
under the
like
cloud.
something getting smaller. That's all it's doing.
No, it's not.
You
It's
just
clearly
can't see
behind the
any
cloud. You
longer.
can
That's
clearly
It's not.
see it
It's clearly
through the
getting
cloud.
Smaller.
Clearly, you can see it through the
If-
cloud.
You would have a case, Brandon.
not.
You would have a case.
They'll
if
never
Brandon,
say
you would have
any
a case
different.
if the one that we can clearly see disappeared suddenly.
It
But
does.
it's not.
It does.
It's-
Watch.
no,
It's
it's
right
not.
here.
No, it's
Do you
not.
see this bright
No,
spot
you
right
can
here?
see-
Can you guys see my mouse?
Getting smaller and smaller. It's getting further away,
Right
and then
here.
it just becomes unresolvable.
Not really.
Let's see. No,
If
you
it
guys
happens
can't
to
see
the
it
big
very well.
black thing, then you would
Rumpus
have a
won't
case.
stop talking.
I know he doesn't want me to show this again, and
Oh, how many did you show it again?
well,
More
then
than
shut the
happy.
hell up for a minute and let me just tell you
There
what I
goes
see.
the high-pitched voice.
All right. So here it is. Here's the little flash right here. Just see if you can pick up on it. So it's going. It's still in front of the cloud, right? We can still see it right there. Shut up, Rumpus. We can still see it. All right.
Blurry.
Now we can see it behind the cloud. Do you see how you can still see the spot behind the cloud? Let me back it
I
up.
don't know where's the low.
Let me back it up
No,
a
we can't
frame.
see it.
Yep,
No, we
yep,
can't see
yep,
it on
yep,
this
yep.
one. I don't know it's a low
All
resolution.
right, hold on. Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you this. You can still see it behind a cloud. It is clearly behind a part of that cloud and then falls
You
away.
might be able to see a shadow of it, but you can't see it.
Have you seen pictures of?
Okay, I watched the object the whole way, see it fall, and then the same thing I'm watching the whole way goes behind a cloud and disappears.
Brandon, why would we do that?
Propaganda?
Well, he's saying it's an error or something. He's saying some piece of CGI, presumably. They've made an error.
No, I'm not saying CGI. I never mentioned CGI.
Well, look, I'm just saying
They
you can make
print the money. They don't care how much it costs. No, it's not about money to them. It's about control.
Control.
It's not about
what are they
money,
controlling?
Phil.
Not silly people,
They got all
no.
the money.
You guys got any more straw
What are they
men?
controlling?
Brendan, do
Yeah.
you not think that this is similar to some of the photographs where people have taken the moon,
exactly
where
what I was
it's in a
saying.
cloudy sky, and because of the way light reflects, it looks like some of the clouds are going behind the moon. It's an issue of brightness and exposure.
Maybe. That's a good theory, too. As long as we're not counting out the theory that this is going behind a cloud, as we clearly see it doing. Let's all agree on something. Let's all agree on something. We see it go behind the cloud.
No, we don't see it.
It appears, all right, let me rephrase it. It appears to go behind the cloud.
No, it doesn't. It appears.
You
to
guys can't
disappear
even
to
give me
skip
that,
forward.
right? You guys can't even admit that it appears to go behind the cloud.
No, of course they won't.
But now you're telling me that sometimes it's just like when the moon
They can't give an
appears
inch, Brandon.
to
They
be
can't give 1 inch.
in
Well, it could
between
be that you've got high
clouds.
How high res is your image? Because I'm looking at your feed inside Discord. Is it lower res or something?
To no longer be appearing.
Where's the link to this thing so I can see it the full resolution you're looking at it at? Is that in the link in the chat?
No, this is I've downloaded this
I can
so
give
it doesn't
you that,
disappear on me.
Rumpus, how is it that you're asking for better resolution when a moment ago you were so convinced that Brandon was wrong? Now you need better evidence of the thing that you claimed? I don't understand.
I want to make sure that I'm seeing what Brandon sees, and at
But
the
you
moment,
sounded very confident. You sounded very confident. Now you want a higher definition?
behind the clouds, and I know the effect, and I know the
Brandon,
fact that George talked about.
You could
occurs
ask
as well.
somebody who's actually who actually works with it.
Yeah, we know it doesn't go behind the clouds. So the fact that I know
You do, Phil. You haven't answered.
but I want to make sure I'm seeing what Brandon sees. So I don't want to be in I'm looking at low res and him looking at high res, and perhaps there's a visual effect that I'm not aware of. But at the moment, what he's showing in Discord does not look like it's going behind the cloud.
It
But
does.
he's saying it looked like to him.
It does.
So if it does, then I need to see what he's seeing.
Let me
Just
see
in
if I
case
can.
he's-
Ooh, it's big enough it's small enough for me to share actually. So I'm popping it in general. So you can open it yourself and take a look at it. And you will see what I am seeing. It's not the highest resolution film. You think for all the millions of dollars they spent, they could have used some better cameras, Phil. You might want to suggest that to them next time.
Why do you need a better resolution so that you can pick at it?
So for their why? Is there something to pick at? So their customers can see the satellite? So for scientific research, watch it? I don't know.
Yeah, why would you be worried if people picked at it?
Yeah.
Why would that?
Why would you waste time?
You?
Why would you waste time in downward like on a really high resolution?
What do you
of a
care
satellite
other
going?
That's so stupid, dude. Do you know how long
No,
it
it's not
takes to
stupid,
download
man.
something now? That's
You still don't
ridiculous.
understand the
Like
uplinks to
that is a
satellite.
consideration for a major space program, how long it's going to take to download the footage that they take, as if bandwidth is a consideration for them.
Bandwidth is a consideration.
Then they record it to a hard drive that is on
Right,
the
you shouldn't
fucking
be surprised that you get
Dude,
that
this
from
is a
him.
multi-billion-dollar corporation, bro. How dare you say that shit?
You guys are. You understand anything about? No, you don't. I'm sorry.
So all of our cell phone signals and all the conversations and all this shit that goes through these satellites, but they can't handle some fucking video from one rocket. Is that what you're telling me?
First of all, your cell phones don't go through
No.
satellites. unless you're
Answer my
satellite.
question. So they're handling all this data. All these satellites are handling this tons of data. All the telecommunications, all that shit. The satellite TVs coming through the satellite, but it can't handle this one fucking video feed from a rocket. Sounds
Not
pretty
just that.
stupid when I say it like that, doesn't it? Paid NASA show.
P900s and P1000s, and these people in NASA can't go past a GoPro. Can you tell me the
He
logic
just
in
used
that?
satellites as proof
Quality
before.
camera.
And now he's saying they don't go through satellites. So is it proof of a ball Earth because this shit goes through satellites, or does it not go through the satellites?
Yeah. It can't handle the bandwidth, these satellites? Wow, what the fuck are we putting these up there?
Nah, it's like these people have no common sense. They don't question the quality of images. When cameras are extremely cheap in the general world, they have billions of dollars to work with, and all of a sudden, they have to cheap out on the camera. They have to cheap out on anything that could give us any actual evidence.
Oh, shut up!
Have you guys seen the ad?
Bit you in the ass.
Have you guys seen the ad for the new monocular? It's come up for me heaps of times before flat earth videos, and it's a little monocular that you can attach to your cell phone, and it's got like you know that UV light stuff that they police use to see crime scenes and stuff. It can do all that kind of stuff, and it can zoom in like this mountain that was like maybe 30 miles away.
Yeah, I'm actually calling bullshit on that one page, by the way.
Hey?
I'm actually calling that one a scam.
You're going to call bullshit on me asking people if they've seen an ad? You're kidding me.
No, I am calling bullshit on that particular product.
What are they? I'm sorry, they're monoculars?
Okay, well, that's
I haven't
all
done the
I'm
maths, but I think it's...
was, had anybody seen that ad? Had anybody come across it?
Yes.
What is the product?
Okay.
What is the product so the audience can know what you're talking about? What is the product that you're talking about? What are you guys talking about?
It's basically a telescope, and it has some ridiculous level of zoom that I think is bullshit. I think would be beyond the Raleigh criterion to get that sort of resolution. With that diameter.
Or you've actually, you know.
I've calculated it.
But you haven't tested
it.
You haven't tested it either.
I've been meaning to check it out.
You mean these handheld telescopes that they're advertising all over the place that says it has nanotechnology and all that?
Yeah, just bullshit.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know about nanotechnology. This one's just got a zoom like a P1000.
Ruhif, I actually have one of those.
You can't get any better magnification than the aperture diameter.
Hey, Phil has one. Let's hear from him. Phil
just said he had one. Yeah,
I actually have one. Let me tell you this. Don't buy it. You'll be very, very disappointed. Okay? It's not even as good as a really cheap binocular.
What's wrong?
Would you mind doing some footage with it and showing us then?
No problems.
Would you put together a little video and just show us that, you know, look, this is what they show on the ad and this is how far I actually can see with it?
Paige, why don't I post it to you and then you do it?
Oh, sure. That would, I would love that.
Brandon.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah.
There's any number of product scams on Facebook and the internet now. Drones, telescopes, low temperature welding. They're all over the place.
It doesn't it claim to be able to do 1,000 times the resolution of a normal telescope or something?
Yeah, it's I forget the actual claims, but it's just bullshit. Yeah.
It's absolute drivel of the first order. It's a scam, it's a fraud, and these people will be prosecuted eventually. And then we'll be able to come back to you and say...
I got given one as a gift, and believe me, it's just absolute nonsense.
Yeah, well, we have testimony from Phil who's got one. I mean, what more do you want? It's optically impossible. Phil's got
if it's
one,
that
says
bad,
it's
then people should be shown, shouldn't they? They should be warned about it. So it would be a good idea.
Paige, we're warning you now. We're warning you now.
Okay, so what's wrong with me finding out for myself and doing a video and showing everyone else?
That'd be great.
Thank you. Yeah, that would be great.
Paige, knock yourself out. Go spend your money and get one.
I'll buy one for you, Paige. Stick it on your Amazon wish list.
That's the whole point. So if Phil's going to send me the one he's got, then that would be great because then it doesn't cost me anything.
Yep.
Yeah, Paige. Oh, you'll have to send it back though because it belongs to someone else.
Yeah, sure.
I'll get you on, Paige.
It's like about $40 or something. It's rubbish.
Looks it.
Well, these ones are there's
are they that
there's some
cheap?
$40, there's some a couple $100, but they're supposed to be better than.
So they range.
They're the same rubbish, and you get.
That's exactly the key word there, Brandon. That's the key word. Supposed to be better. It isn't better.
Huh.
And it can't be. The optical claims they make are impossible.
Exactly.
You cannot increase the aperture
you guys
beyond
make
the physical
impossible-
size of your aperture lens. That's the limitation.
Yeah.
And they're claiming that their
it's a
nanotechnology
key
So
to
wouldn't our
having
eyes have
3,000
that?
elements.
aperture by a factor of 30 or better.
Look at us actually understanding the Rayleigh criterion. Wow.
That's right. Notice all the people who can spot because they understand science and it's bollocks, and all the people who don't understand science think, oh, it might be true, might be some magic going on here.
God,
Oh,
Let's
boy.
demonstrate it again.
Fucking hell.
The
Get
people who
out.
know something can see bollocks.
You guys want us to leave the room so you can pat each other on the back?
Yeah.
Private.
Accept it.
Jack each other off.
Rumpus, you missed a good one last night.
He doesn't even know it
a
for
good one
himself.
last night that was told to Phil and I. Phil was telling Bob Dole and a few others about spectroscopy and stuff, and that there can't be any more than 92 natural elements. He said, oh no, that's not impossible. What about the other 3,000? You know, my God, they don't understand.
Well,
it's absolutely impossible to have more than 92 naturally occurring elements. Absolutely impossible.
Okay, all right.
3,000. He claimed 3,000 new elements, George.
Yeah, somewhere in the universe.
I'm pretty sure Bob was just coming up with a number off the top of his head, guys.
You mean I'd pull a number out of his ass like normal?
Pretty much, yeah. I think it was a hypothetical argument, and
Okay.
you guys are all gonna.
Glad we agree that he pulls the numbers out of his ass.
Yeah, like that.
Totally hypothetical.
Understood
I mean,
anything about
NASA does it. Why
chemistry,
can't Bob do
the
it?
basics of quantum
Can't
mechanics.
hear anybody, guys. We're all talking over each other again. Bob, go ahead. You can respond since they were taking shots at you.
I encourage everyone to go watch that video and listen to exactly what I said. I encourage you to do so. I want you to go see it. I doubt George wants you to go watch it because it'll show that he's a liar. But I encourage you to actually go watch the video and listen to what I said because I schooled the guy I was talking to pretty hardcore.
What did you say?
You can go watch the video to see what I said,
Tell
Rumpus.
us? Okay, well,
I
you can just
encourage
tell
you.
us.
I
Okay,
encourage you
but
to
what
go
in the
watch
meantime?
the video.
Yeah,
save us all
people
some
should.
time.
People should watch it. It was good.
Yeah, but why don't you just tell us?
I encourage you to go watch
Oh,
the video.
forget it then.
Please.
No, I'm not going to do either now. You could have told me that you
Yeah,
chose
see,
to
you
play
don't want
games.
to.
Now you can start off.
You
No,
That's your choice, Rumpus.
What
If you
happened?
remain
What
ignorant,
happened?
that's your choice.
Okay.
These people who
After
won't
I made-
articulate their
after
own
Bob-
arguments just don't
Okay, get off the soapbox.
Hold on, I'll tell you exactly what happened after Bob made this comment, offhand comment about finding as many as 3,000 other elements in the universe. I said that is absolutely impossible. You cannot have more than 92 naturally occurring elements. This is a limitation due to quantum mechanics, chemistry. If you look at how shells fill and that, 92 is it, no more. And Bob came back and said, no, nothing's impossible. You can't tell me that's impossible. Ha 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 ha, and all this stuff. You know.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
encourage you to go watch the video and see what he is doing right now to our conversation. I encourage everybody to go watch it and listen to exactly what I said. Write down every word that I say and then bring it back to us, okay?
Yeah, but you challenged me when I told you that it was impossible, and you denied that it could. It is
Like I
impossible.
said,
You
I
said
challenge
anything is
you.
possible.
Write down every word, please. Please do that.
Okay. All right, I'll go find it for you.
Was this on the show or in
Oh,
the
wait.
after show? I thought this was the
No,
after
that
show.
was in the after show.
I haven't put it out yet, so it's not
George, I
out
think
there.
you
You
need to
won't
be
you
a
won't
little
hear
careful.
it.
It's
Hey,
plutonium.
I'm talking right now. I'm fucking talking. I haven't put it out yet, but I do plan on putting it out this weekend. But I do want to ask the panel a question. Does anybody have any? We have like 5 or 6 ballers on here. You guys are all very in at the same time this week. I don't know what's going on. You guys didn't work your schedules out or what, but is there any
There's
new?
a fuck up in the scheduling.
The paycheck comes in tomorrow.
Okay. Is there any new?
I'm just trying to get in some overtime.
Is there any new proofs that you guys have? Do you guys have any new proofs? Do you guys have any actual evidence?
I need a new Mercedes.
Of Ball Earth.
Only the ones that you've never answered in the last 5 years, Brandon.
Just a quickie for George. George, there are
No, I
some
mean
naturally occurring elements.
actual evidence.
Just quickie, George, there are some naturally occurring elements above 92. Plutonium is one, for instance. It's 94.
Stable.
It's
No, it's not-
man-made.
You can have but you can have radioactive naturally occurring elements. Yeah, okay.
Brandon.
So that's a no. Then nobody has any scientific evidence.
It's going to be radioactive and
possibly
have
Ask them to give you the math for
occurring
R
radioactive
from
elements.
the Black Swan observation.
You can ask him, Paige, if you want to ask. Go ahead.
Black Swan is bullshit. You know that.
Plutonium.
Why is the Black Swan bullshit?
It does naturally occur.
Hey guys, we don't give a fuck. Can you guys follow the conversation? We don't care about the elements. Hey, paid NASA show.
Refraction occurs. We know that it occurs.
So why are you saying the Black Swan is bullshit?
Because it's a very highly refractive day. We know about that.
Yeah, but how did you get the math for your refraction?
What do you mean, the math for my refraction?
How did you get your math for R?
Is this the old...
Can you ask me a question and you won't let me answer? You're kidding me.
Sorry,
You're
go
going to
ahead.
behave like this again.
No, listen, I thought you were done. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Made me lose track of what I was thinking. Fucking hell.
The R. How do I get the R value?
I want to ask George about the 21-mile laser test and how that equates with the arc seconds on the horizon.
Well,
if it's refracting, is the horizon refracting? Is the horizon not refracting with the laser, bro?
It's taught in universities. For most people, that is not true because some subject material, some complicated, you need guidance from an instructor to ensure that you are interpreting the material correctly. Most people that go onto the internet and try to learn any deep subjects, sometimes misconstrue what's being said that is critical for further learning and further getting into the subject material, and they go way off into the weeds.
Okay.
So
well, let's let.
What would his math have been if he'd gone out on the day that the Black Swan was taken?
You would recognize that it was a highly refractive day.
How? You haven't got your math yet. It's the first.
You're obviously seeing further than normal on that day.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So no.
You measure the temperature and pressure. But this is the first time you're measuring it ever.
Well, on that day, if this was the
don't
first
have
time,
an R value
if this was the
yet.
first time you ever saw it, you would probably assume that the Earth was about the size of Jupiter, right? But if you knew that, measured the radius of the Earth by other methods, you would recognize that it was a highly refractive day.
When you can,
or you can actually measure the refraction.
Whenever you can.
With the 21-mile laser test, what's that?
Hold on a second. What's the 21-mile laser test bullshit? Or what? It was.
Yeah, that your brain tells you
Donna showed you
bullshit,
yesterday.
but it's actually not. You know, that's the funny
Oh, that's the
thing.
one we were talking about yesterday, right? Okay.
Your brain already hasn't accepted it.
Yeah, but no one denies that refraction can account for things like circulating
Okay, well,
rays, Brian.
Rufus, is the horizon refracting with the laser beam?
We
What's
don't
going
agree
on
with
there?
that.
Everything's refracted, Brian.
Okay, wait. If
Then
the
how do
horizon's
you get
refracting
your
up
straight
and the
lines
laser
to do
beam's
geometry
refracting
to
up-
get your R?
Oh my goodness!
Right, because you pick a
Because you
different
can get the
circumstance.
radius of the Earth by other methods.
Yeah, as well as that, there are many ways, looking like Polaris, for instance. But you could pick a better day and go up a mountain rather than do what the guy did the Black Swan one. He he sat the thing down about 3 feet above the sea level, where you're going to get maximum refraction. Whereas if you want to make a measurement of the radius of the Earth, you go up a mountain like Al Bruni did, and then the geometric horizon and the apparent horizon are much, much closer together. So you get a much better result. But there are many better ways, such as Polaris and Aristophanes things.
We
And
only
of
have
course-
one horizon.
Can you elaborate on the Polaris thing a little bit?
Right. If you have, looking at Polaris, which we know is a very distant star, and we know that every 69 miles you go along a line of longitude, it moves by 1 degree. Hold on.
How we know that?
Let me just finish. Jesus Christ. And if you go along the line of longitude every 69 miles, Polaris changes by 1 degree. The only possible shape on which that can occur. Brian, nearly there. And the only shape that gives you that result, where it uniformly changes by 1 degree every 69 miles, is being on the surface of a sphere. Finished. Go ahead, Brian, Page, whoever. Matrix. So it's very simple. It's an excellent way of working out the radius of the
I was
Earth.
going to say you basically plotted perspective. I mean, potentially.
No.
You potentially
No.
plotted perspective.
What do you mean by that, Brian?
No. Sorry. No.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, okay, I want to talk about the laser. Okay, he's
I
saying
want to talk about the laser. We know about the laser.
Wait, I want to see.
We're talking about Polaris.
I want to see how that.
We don't. Let's talk about the laser.
He's asking a question. He wants to answer. No, Brian, you're interrupting a flow here on. Oh, Brian, you can go next, but
Every time we talk about the laser, this is what happens.
Can we just check that Matrix has absorbed the answer, and then you can have your go? How about that? So I need.
You just told me to wait, and I waited on your dumbass to change the subject.
Right, Brian, mate, we were in the middle of answering Matrix's question. Could we just finish that and then get on to your point, please? I want to know if he understood the answer I gave, and that you can use it to work out the radius of the Earth from looking at Polaris. And if he understood that, then we can go ahead to whatever it is you want to talk about. He's gone quiet. Okay, Brian, carry on. He doesn't want to talk to us now, so go ahead.
No, I just want to listen to Brian.
Every
Go
time
ahead,
we
Brian.
go to talk about this every time we go to talk about this laser, this is what happens. Y'all don't want to discuss this, but this is the point is we're seeing these things. I want to know how many arc seconds, okay, between the horizon and the laser. He's only 5 foot above. He's 5 foot off the ground. The laser's 5 foot off the ground. So from 21 miles, how many arc seconds is that? And how are you measuring the horizon? How are you saying the horizon's looming up, but the laser beam is also looming up? Okay?
Yeah, everything's looming up.
You'd wind up with a radius 4 times the size of Jupiter. Do the math.
No,
but
right.
how many arc seconds is between the horizon and that laser beam at 21 miles?
Okay, I'll do the calculation in a second. I'll do the calculation in a second. With certain refractive conditions, on a still day, with a temperature gradient of a few degrees per meter, you can get what are called circulating rays, which means that the rays of light match the curvature of the Earth. In other words, it makes it look flat if you're looking at objects. And that's clearly, Brian, nearly there. And this is clearly what's happening here, because we've got this water, which is very shallow, it's very still, and those are the conditions. And also in the evening, when you can get things like circulating rays. We've seen these circulating rays with the Black Swan. We've seen, George has actually got a picture of them. He's observed just a few days ago, and also Anthony Riley observed them when he took some pictures of the Isle of Man. We know that circulating rays exist. You can make the measurements of the temperature to predict when they're going to get them, and we have an example now with this new laser thing from whoever it was, Dearth or something, or what his name's.
Rumpus. What you're asking me to think is that it's bending around, and that 21-mile shot that it's arcing over the Empire State Building. I don't know if my brain can quite go that far, man.
Okay, Brian, do you understand that if the ray of light, the laser beam, was to curve at the same rate as the Earth, then you would effectively, this is the case where you'd see your own bottom thing that everyone likes to quote. If it carried on around the Earth and you had a big 10 enough telescope, you could see your own bottom if the refraction is such that it bends the light to have the same radius as the Earth.
You're saying that the light's bending downward and making it appear higher, okay?
Yeah.
How is the horizon, okay? You're telling me you could distinguish between 5 foot between that laser beam and the ground at 21 miles?
No, I'm not saying you can do that at all. That's about what they're doing pretty much when they're doing these shots to determine the radius of the Earth. They're pretty much determining minute amounts that the refraction would way outweigh the results, man. If you ask me, it would, indeed. You're absolutely right, Brian. In the cases where you decide to get only 5 feet above the water in a place like this on a still day, that's not a good observation point. Whereas if you go up top of a mountain, say a few thousand feet high, and you're looking down onto a piece of water, then those conditions are much better for determining the radius of the Earth. You wouldn't pick this observation point to do that, because the refraction effects are much greater when you're close to the water or the ground.
What I want to do is you go to that video and look at that video and pick something in the background 300 foot higher, and you tell me that's how much the laser is.
But Brian, did you understand what I said? That if the light from the
I understand. It's just a tough one to buy, bro.
Right, but if you understand that, then if you understand that refraction can do that, which, i.e., the radius of the curvature of the ray of the laser is the same as the curvature of the Earth, which you can get with just a few degrees per meter, you will get this effect. In other words, you can see infinitely far and effectively potentially see your own bottom if you had a powerful enough telescope and you didn't have attenuation from the mountains in the way.
Prove it.
So if you understand...
Okay, Robert, let me ask you a question.
Obviously, you wouldn't in practice because the
What
attenuation...
an absolute load of nonsense.
Yeah,
I've never heard more rubbish in all my life. My goodness. I leave you alone for 2 minutes and look what you devolve into.
You don't understand the curvature.
Let me try to get you to think one time. Let me try to get Robert to think one time. Okay, so if we're halfway in that lake, say we're 10 miles out. So if then there's a buoy that's 10 miles, okay,
Yep.
and the laser beam is 21 miles, okay,
Yep.
and it's right there on the horizon. You can't really distinguish the horizon from the laser because it's so far away. How much refraction am I going to get from that buoy that's 10 miles? How's that going to appear to me?
Right, but
It's level. The buoy's 5 foot tall, same height as the laser.
Right, indeed. But Brian, if you understood what I said, that means that all light that's going horizontally from the buoy and from the distant laser, they're all going to form circulating rays. That means they will not meet the horizon. But they could circulate around the Earth in theory, although obviously wouldn't in practice because of attenuation. But in theory, if you had a vacuum, for instance, if you're on the moon or something, and you wouldn't get refraction. Okay, that's probably a bad error, bad suggestion. But if you didn't have attenuation in the atmosphere, then these rays from the buoy and from that thing, if they started at the same height, would hit you at the same height, because then the Earth would appear to be perfectly flat. Now, if you can understand the geometry, I can draw something here to demonstrate this if you like, but if you understand that fundamental fact that you can have rays of light that have the same curvature as the Earth, then the Earth will look flat, and the buoy 6 miles will look exactly in the same place as something that's 21 miles away at the same height.
Can I ask you something?
What happened into the? Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to ask one real question. So you said that if, in theory, these circulating rays, you'd look through the telescope and see your own ass. Would it look like you were looking at yourself over an extremely long plane? And I guess you'd see past your own ass if that was the case. So would you see a second you in the distance? Would you see two of your own asses? Would it be like mirror repeating asses?
Yes, you could have repeating bottoms. Yes,
if you could, it would look like an infinity
but
mirror.
they'd be in line. Would they be? If they were perfectly in line, obviously you wouldn't. You'd see the bottom, and then that would be it. But
If you are somewhere that's not reality, you have to take away everything in reality.
Yeah, we recognize that this is not reality, Paige.
We all know this is not real, but I'm just pointing out.
Oh, do you? Because that's what we're trying to get through to you.
I'm trying to get you to understand. Well, the way you do things.
Yeah,
Paige,
you're trying to get us to think about a fantasy world that's not reality. You take everything away.
Problem with all this.
Paige,
Let me tell you my problem with all this.
And then you try and tell me something circle is going to make everything look flat.
Try not to do
No,
a
I
knee-jerk
don't want to try thinking that. It's nonsense.
All right, guys, let's let Brian finish. It was my fault. It was my fault for distracting. Brian, go ahead.
Right, but just finish. I was in the middle of an answer
Yeah,
there.
go ahead.
So in other
make it quick. Make it quick.
The reason that this doesn't happen, the geometry says that it can, but of course we have attenuation, if you understand what that means, Paige. And of course we have mountains and other things that are in the way. So, and also you would need to magnify. You'd have to have the most enormously powerful telescope to see this. So there are 3 reasons there why you cannot see your own bottom, but the geometry says that in theory you could, but in practice, of course, you can't.
All right, here's my problem with it all. Okay, so
The
now
geometry does not say that.
when he's got his theater.
I'll explain to you later. I can go through a drawing diagram page if you like. Okay, go ahead, Brian.
All right, like when George has his theodolite set up. Okay, now he's looking out in the distance, right? And he hold on a second. Yeah, all right. So he's looking out in the distance, okay, and he's judging. He's looking at that tower to see how high it is above the horizon or whatnot. He's determined that it's a certain height and it should be a certain height, okay? And he's trying to use that to determine how much higher it's supposed to be than the horizon. But if the horizon's refracting with the let's say in the laser test, if the horizon is refracting with the laser, then how high is it? I mean, how high? What you're trying to do is man, I'm having trouble explaining this. What you're failing to do here.
Let me just see if I can put you.
Brian, just real quick. The point that he's missing, Brian, the point you're missing is I do not use the horizon as a reference.
So the thing
is, I understand that, but you're using something straight out. So what happens to everything else between me and that laser beam? If the laser beam's refracting upwards, what's happening to everything else?
No, it's refracting downwards, Brian. Brian, you keep on getting refracting downwards, and that makes it curved.
It's refracting downwards. What's happening with everything else, man?
Everything's refracting downwards. Perhaps if I can draw a diagram, if Brandon, you're happy for me to present something, I could perhaps help Brian out here.
Sure.
Can I present something?
Yep.
Great, because then we can make some progress here. Right, let's just get my just share my screen.
I got cut off. Sorry.
You have to understand, Brian. Then all the photographs that I take through the theodolite, the horizontal crosshair is set to a zenith angle of 90 degrees, and you see that in the image. That never changes. That's always at 90 degrees zenith angle, and you see the image in the background moving up or down relative to that 90 degrees zenith angle, which is horizontal at the point of observation. So you can judge everything relative to that line. Horizon or any
What
other
that
thing.
tells me, though, George, am I out of line here thinking that when I see a laser 21 miles away and there's supposed to be a few hundred foot of blockage, that makes me think that there is no blockage? Is there fallacy with that thinking?
No.
Oh yes,
That should be the default.
The thing is you're not taking everything into consideration. Yeah, without understanding that there could be refraction and other effects going on, I guess you'd come to that conclusion. But there are other things that can occur to make that
but my
light
point is, if the laser's looming up, then so would what's blocking it, bro. If the laser's looming up, then what's blocking it would also loom up, man. What don't you understand about that?
Brian, things can loom up at different amounts depending on distance from you. I've got targets out.
You're stretching further and further, brother.
No, I've got photographs that can show you that the targets at 3 miles are not looming, but the targets at 6 miles are.
I say sinking could work like that. I think things being blocked in the distance are more likely to fall under that thing. I think sinking could work the way you're describing.
You can have all these conjectures you want, but unless you have data to back that up, it's just a conjecture.
Well, it's like in the Black Swan. You're saying that the horizon's looming up, but the oil rigs are not. And in the laser beam experiment, you're saying, hold on.
The same data he has.
In the laser beam experiment, you're saying that the laser beam,
just like him.
Brian, could you look at my diagram and I can show you what's going on if you just look at my screen grab, please.
Well, I can still explain it like this, Rumpus. You're saying the laser beam's looming up, but the shit blocking it is not.
Yeah, but if you look at I'm not. If you look at my diagram, I will go through this and we can show you the buoy and the laser thing that we're talking about. So, can you see my diagram? Can you see my diagram?
Yeah, it's showing. I don't know if Brian can see it.
Can Brian say? Because I need to. Brian obviously is the one I need to see it. Is Brian there?
Yeah. My bad. I'm looking for it right now.
You're looking for it. Okay. Can you? I'll wait until you actually got here, so I don't duplicate. Well,
it's not showing it, man.
Oh, is that because your phone's not powerful enough to use this on your phone or something? Oh.
I think, Rumpus, on these things, it'd be better if you simplified the diagram for these.
Yeah, I must admit that. Yeah, well, I don't have George. I don't have time.
There it goes. I see it.
Yeah, great. Honestly, George, I wish you wouldn't say things like, "Well, I don't have time to draw that in this time," but I have a good reasonable diagram here. Right? Can you see? Right. So, if imagine we have, say, the laser, and I'm going to put it here. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully, you can see this. I've put it as a black star. And let's imagine it's there. Now. Here is our eye. Here's our observer. Here's I. Now, light normally, then these are the K values. This is how much they're bending. So, for instance, when you say sinking, that equates to a negative K value, and that's what would happen in all these yellow cases. In the looming case, it's all these blue ones, and the normal standard refraction is this red line. But now, just imagine there is a buoy or laser. Let's make that the laser, and this the buoy. What that means is that with a curvature of 1, that means that the light bends following the curvature of the Earth. And you can have more extreme curves. Like, for instance, I've got one here at 2, which is K is equal to 2, which means it's actually bending more than the curvature of Earth. But let's just deal with the circulating rays case, which is K is equal to 1. That means that the light follows the surface of the Earth, and that means this observer here can see this. And it doesn't matter how far you go around the Earth, and this is why you can see your own bottom, all light from objects on the surface.
Do you honestly think we didn't already realise what you mean? I'm sure we all understand.
No, you don't. Please let me finish my explanation, and then you can come back at me. So
I understand your explanation. It's a tough one to buy, though, brother.
Right, okay, but we know that this happens. We can model this in the lab that you get light bending in this way. So therefore, the issue you have with buoys and lasers, they all just follow this curvature. And so this then means to the observer, all this thing looks like flat. To him, all these objects appear to be here.
The gulf between modeling this in the lab and showing it in the field that this is actually happening has not been breached. You have not bridged that gulf. No, you have not.
Well, we've got pictures
This
to
is
demonstrate.
theoretical. You are presenting a theoretical explanation for why we see that laser, Rumpus.
And it matches reality.
No,
Okay,
it doesn't. It matches reality because you have concocted mathematics for our observations to match
I haven't concocted anything.
your model.
Tell you,
that's what you've done. You haven't proven that this is what's actually happening.
Listen, I have the physics. Well, okay, I can't prove it in the case. I can't prove it in the case of the laser thing because I don't know the temperature gradients. But if I do know the temperature gradients, physics says that light will bend in this way. So and this is what I'm hoping to do with my experiment, where I'm going to be taking the temperature measurements. I can then tell you what the physics will say the curvature will be.
Laser light or sunlight?
Same thing.
What are your assumptions?
No. Can I please have an answer?
Behaves in the same way. So the point is, to an observer here, these stars that I've got here look as though they're exactly on a line and the Earth is flat. If the curvature is this way, and we know, we've seen, George has got examples of varying refractions where things move up and down, and then he's actually got a picture where he has the background water actually looming up above something in the near to him in exactly that we would expect for circulating rays. So the physics says this will happen. And we
all agree light bends, Rumpus.
Oh, yes, but the bends, it's the amount of it bends that's important. And if you get it bending to the same curvature as the Earth, you get exactly the effect you were getting that laser thing. Go ahead, Paige or Brian.
Okay, what's his name? Pebble in the Pond demonstrated light bending with showing something right in front of our face disappear, which would back up our model. I want to see something. I want to see something. I want you to show me a demonstration of looming that's looming more at a distance. I'd just like to see a demonstration.
George has got that. George has got that in the Black Swan demonstration. But the point you just made about the pebble in the thingy, that's what happens when you have the yellow case. I did say this earlier. I don't know if you caught that. If you have negative values of the gradient, then light does this, which means that you will then get the effect that you get. This is what happens when you get, an inferior mirage, and that will exactly account for the observation of the boat disappearing behind things. That's what happens in an inferior mirage when you get these negative ones and the positive.
Would you be honest enough to admit? Would you be honest enough to admit that you're just molding the math to reality?
No, we can do this. We know that I can go and get a
I didn't think you would.
Well, of course not, because
I
you're
was
wrong.
just going to say, I could come along and scrub out all those numbers and write my own numbers in there and go, there you go, my math matches.
But my numbers agree with physics and maths and observation.
Well, your numbers,
these are scientifically validated
This
values.
is what has to be happening for your model to be legitimate. That's what the case is. So you've taken these observations and said, based on our model, this is what's happening.
The physics says this is what will happen.
Based on the model, the physics says this is what's happening.
Until you assign something.
If we measure the refraction effects of a particular temperature gradient, and you go out in the field and you find out that the temperature changes by, say, 3 degrees per meter, then the physics says that light will bend in this particular way. And then when you look at the images, oh look, it exactly matches what the physics does.
But
this is
Rumpus, what are you testing inside?
Rumpus, that's
What are you
bullshit.
testing to get those numbers to check against?
Yes, it is, man. If we showed you
outside.
Right, I can show you a scientific.
If we showed you a picture other than twice the distance of the Black Swan, you just say it's 8 over, or it's like a 12 over 11 fucking radius, man.
Right, here we go. There is a paper that's published. I think I've got it in here above this, where they do exactly what I say. They go and measure the refraction.
You had to have the radius of the Earth before you could come up with that, bro. You're not being honest, dude. You're not being honest.
And you can come back at me in a second, in a moment. Just let me tell you, there's this paper here. Right, this paper here does exactly what I'm just describing. What the heck happened there? Why's that disappeared? What the heck? What have you done, you bastard? Why have you disappeared?
Which come first, radius, the refracted value of the radius of Earth, or the radius of Earth?
What the friggin'? Some of the text has gone. Oh. Okay, something weird has just happened to my.
You were scrolling so fast, it looks like you might have deleted something, or because you were scrolling, you might have pressed the mouse button and done something.
That's incredible. Okay. My program seems to have done something horrible. I will have to Oh, okay, right, okay.
He lost his script, guys. He lost his script. He's in trouble.
No, I've lost. Oh. I've lost my document.
So anyway, I wanted to make a point. There's been quite a few of these laser tests done, and it seems like more often than not we see the laser. So you're telling me that on a consistent basis we have the exact conditions required, that exact K value required for us to see the laser bending to make it look like the Earth is flat? That happens on a regular basis?
There are places in the world where these effects happen more often than other places. So, for instance, where you have still air, very warm water, and in the evening particularly, that paper that I was just trying to bring up that went mad.
Just say clear conditions, bro. Just say clear
No,
conditions.
there are several things have to come together. It helps if you do it in the evening, you get these circulating rays, and that's the same conditions that Anthony Riley got the Isle of Man circulating rays. And if you're in a place in the where the water is warm and you get cold air coming in, there are particular gradients of the temperature that cause these effects. Now, I bet you if he goes back to that thing on a cold day or when there's some wind, he will not be able to see the laser.
It essentially happens wherever we do laser tests. These
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, and not only that, Brandon, it cuts through the horizon like the sun does in the distance a lot. Lasers also do that, and sometimes the mirror flashes do it too. You'll see what you think is the horizon, and all of a sudden you'll see a flash underneath that.
Yeah.
Like when you see the sun, where it looks like it's underneath the horizon. That's more evidence that the horizon is visual. It's not a solid spot. It's just a focal point, basically, off in the distance, man.
Well, speaking of Pebble on the Pond, who is on the panel, when he did this test that I have on my screen, I should still be sharing, he had a laser on the left and a flashlight on the right. Now, the laser's a little higher, but the laser never is impacted by this mirage, and the flashlight is fully impacted, right? So the laser's not covered up. So, Gleam was telling me in chat that laser light, I think what it was that he said, he reminded me that laser light and sunlight are not the same. He said that, no, they're not the same thing. One is coherent and the other is incoherent. Photons versus protons.
Doesn't make a difference to refraction.
Really? So lasers refract the same as sunlight and ambient light?
Yes, it does.
Correct.
Hmm.
Well, actually...
No,
okay,
they make, in my model, they make a difference.
The laser has only one frequency, so that the refraction is dependent on the frequency of the light. So there is green light in the sunlight, so the green light in sunlight will refract in exactly the same way as the green light in a laser. So the other colors of light will bend slightly differently, but effectively you can treat it as the same.
Gotcha.
You see the new science talking about the holograms and how
Hold
the
on
different.
a second there. Rumpus, are you telling us coherent light is the same as incoherent light?
In terms of refraction, yes.
How can you prove that?
Yes, all light is the same mantra. All light is the same mantra. All coherent light means is it's monochromatic. It's the same color.
Well, it's in phase as well, George, as well.
And
Yeah, the new science is talking about the different speeds of light. How in the holograms they're coming up with now, like they use different because the red is slower at the one end of the wavelength, and the white and the blue at the other end is faster. So it's faster. So the blue light's faster. So they use a certain light. Let me finish, man. Shit. They use a certain lights on the edges as they do the front to make it look Are you serious, dude? Let me finish. I'm almost done. But they use a certain speed of light to make things look three-dimensional off in the distance, and that's how they make it because they utilize the different speeds of light.
Yeah, and that occurs.
There are no different speeds of light.
Solid.
All light travels at the
He's
same
talking about in hologram,
velocity.
George. He's talking about the hologram and a solid when we do get different velocities. Yes. So let's
within material, within different
that's what
material.
he's talking about in a hologram where you do have it in different materials. So yes, you can do that. It's like water speed of light in water is different to the speed of light in diamond, which is different to the speed of light in a vacuum, which is very close to the speed of light in air.
But in
they're all in the same medium, Rumpus. All the lights are in the same medium, but they're moving at different speeds due to their frequency.
No, that's not possible.
Due to their energy, I mean.
No, that's not
That's what they're saying now.
No, they're not. They'll have different bits of the thing at different different materials to achieve that effect.
For the same material.
This is like the third thing you said that's absolute bullshit.
You don't know what you're talking about, right?
Brian, listen a minute, Brian. For any given material with a fixed permittivity and permeability, that is a homogeneous material, all light of all colors travel at the same velocity.
Yeah, well, that's why this is new information, George. I wouldn't be telling you if it was the same shit you're saying. George, if I wanted to read Wikipedia, bro, I would just go. I'd go read Wikipedia, man.
I'm trying to straighten you out.
You're trying to read Wikipedia to me, bro. I'm not interested in that.
George, I don't think that can be correct because otherwise prisms wouldn't refract red light less than blue light.
That has to do with boundary conditions.
Yep.
George, at some point, you're going to have to concede to this new science, bro.
Once it's in the material, it all travels at the same velocity. Jesus Christ.
I don't think it can do that, George. I don't see how it can be. The frequency must be frequency
bending occurs at the interface to satisfy the boundary conditions, not inside the material. Jesus.
But then it wouldn't bend at the other end. It has to be traveling at different speed.
It occurs at the boundary layer, not in the material.
Okay. I'm sorry. As I understand
Once the different colors enter the prism that's of the same homogeneous material, they're traveling at the same velocity.
This is all calculated after the prism, bro. The prism is not even part of this calculation.
Of course, you can create these hologram effects by layering different types of mediums, different types of materials. But in any given material, the speed of light is 1 over the square root of mu epsilon. That's the material property. There's nothing in Maxwell's equations.
Listen, Maxwell's equations were replaced with Planck.
Oh, shut up.
Hey, hold on. You know all about the ultraviolet catastrophe, don't you?
Ryan, shut up a minute. Shut up a minute. Jesus Christ, you're annoying.
Dude, every time I go to talk, you say shut up. You need to shut the fuck up and answer a question.
You've hit on a
Do you know about the ultraviolet catastrophe, George?
Equation, Rumpus, does not have a wavelength or frequency parameter in it for predicting the speed of light.
George, I agree with that you've got a good argument there. You've got a good argument there. But I still don't see how it can. I still think it has to be frequency. But okay, I've got a conflict. But I agree with you. Your Maxwell's equations don't have a frequency element. So yes, that's a good point.
Can I read a little paragraph for 2 seconds?
Yeah, do it.
Coherent light scattering. Scattered wavelengths have non-random relative phase in the direction of interest. Incoherent light scattering. Scattered wavelets have random relative phase in the direction of interest.
We said that, Sean. You just Montreal. We said that about 5 minutes ago.
I said that about 5 minutes ago? No, I didn't.
George and I said it 5 minutes ago.
Okay, so what does that mean, Rumpus?
We said one of them wasn't in phase and the other one was.
So they're different, right?
But not in terms of refraction, which is what the subject of the matter.
What is scattering?
Well, that's not refraction. If you're talking about things like Rayleigh scattering, that's not refraction related.
Yeah, but that right there shows you, man, like the different wavelengths. They're trying to say that the red is moving faster because the wavelengths are different and shit. And now they're showing the
different.
Put it on
yeah. That's what I meant.
Coherent light will be refracted in exactly the same way as incoherent light.
Do you know about the catastrophe? What Brian asked you about the gold leaf experiment? Are you aware of that?
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Okay. So don't try and prove numbers.
Which light affected it only, Rumpus? Hold on. Let me see if he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. Ask him that.
Which wavelength of light affected it, Rumpus?
Affected what?
The gold leaf. I thought you were aware of the experiment.
The gold leaf has nothing to do with the ultraviolet catastrophe. So what's the question?
I'm talking about what I'm talking about. And yes, it does.
Well,
answer the question. What wavelength of light affects the gold leaf?
Right. Ask me the question again, because I didn't understand what you were saying. It ended strangely, your question, as usual.
He's had plenty of time to look it up now, SC, but what frequency of light is affected by the ultraviolet catastrophe? What frequencies are they referring to?
Ultraviolet's affected by it.
See, I told you had plenty of time to work that out.
He took out one of his things. He had no freaking clue.
I studied
Rumpus,
this
you're
at
full of shit.
university. And what bloody whatever, this gold leaf has got nothing to do with it. I don't know what Sean Montreal's talking about.
Okay, tell us, how did they charge the leaf, Rumpus? How did they charge the leaf in the experiment?
There is no gold leaf in the ultraviolet catastrophe issue. I think you talking about something
He don't have
else.
a clue. You don't have a clue. Okay.
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the photoelectric effect and the fact that some light can discharge a gold leaf. That's got nothing to do with
That ain't what I'm talking about, Rumpus. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the black body radiation. Okay?
Two completely separate things. What a moron.
Rumpus, I'm not talking about that.
No,
Listen.
you're not, Brian.
Listen.
But the moron Montreal is, he's got two things completely confused together. Go ahead with whatever you're
It still gives the same answer, so that was a valid question, bro. What he asked you was valid.
Question about the light, Rumpus, which you had
Let me
no fucking
explain to you what
clue.
the two things are.
Your brain has trouble tying shit together, bro. Trust me.
Just listen. Try listening.
You think about the math, Rumpus, but listen to this. Would you admit this? Would you admit this, or do I got to pull it up? Okay, in the ultraviolet catastrophe.
We've got two issues going on here. We've got the moron Montreal who's getting confused between the ultraviolet catastrophe, which is a thing that led to quantum mechanics, because the energy, the classical mechanics, predicted that the energy in the ultraviolet band would increase to infinity. And they then said, well, that can't be happening, obviously. And then
You brought up Rayleigh scattering, dude.
Oh, my God. And then Max Planck, who then said, well, okay, if we quantize the energy that's possible, then you don't get the ultraviolet catastrophe. And that was the birth of quantum mechanics. Now,
that's what they had to do. They had to basically. And guess what, Rumpus?
Gold leaf electroscope, which got nothing to do. That's to do with the.
Guess what else, Rumpus?
Which is to do with the energy of photons, and that the higher frequency is capable of liberating electrons.
The freaking different frequencies and the energy they give off and the colors they give off failing when it hits ultraviolet, you dumbass.
Microscopes.
You're fucking retarded sometimes, bro.
Brian, you know what the fuck you're talking about.
Listen though. Listen, man. They admitted that they used numbers that Planck admitted, or what's his name, admitted that they wiggled the numbers until they found what fit and went with it. They admitted that. And you're trying to use the numbers to prove the reality when they use the reality to come up with the numbers. You just won't admit it, bro.
What is wrong with that, Brian? That's how science works.
It's all been proved in reality. It's been tested 1 billion times, those experiments, and they've been validated and verified in labs.
Right, and that's how they come up with the numbers, dumbass.
Your computer works, Brian, based on those sorts of the numbers, the Planck's constant, which Max Planck invented. Your bloody semiconductor chip in your goddamn computer is entirely based on that sort of research, which has been validated time and time again.
What I was trying to show you, Rumpus, was different light affects different things. That's what I was trying to show you, like incoherent and coherent. That's why I brought up that particular experiment.
That has nothing to do with the ultraviolet catastrophe.
Agreed, but I was trying to show you the difference at light. There's different kinds of light, like normal light and laser light, Rumpus.
The other day you said there's no such thing as electromagnetic potential, okay? Today you're not admitting that to come up with Planck's law, they went with reality. They used what they seen, okay, and plotted it. Plotted it with reality. They wiggled the numbers until they fit. They admitted it, but you won't admit it.
They observed a phenomenon, and then they came up with an explanation for it, which has been proved to be correct.
Why should we
they wiggled the numbers, okay? So what that is you're taking...
Hold on. With things that you can see around the globe. Why should we listen to a moron like you, Rumpus?
Why? You're the moron here. You've just demonstrated you didn't understand the difference between the ultraviolet catastrophe and bloody discharging the potential on electric.
No, I explained to you why I said that. But you're an idiot that thinks you can think indefinitely and see around the globe and see your ass. You're a moron.
The word I said, I told you in practice that cannot happen. You obviously didn't listen to that bit. I said it very carefully that in practice that cannot happen, but in geometrically it could. But in practice in the real world, it can't. Did you not hear me say that, you moron?
So, moron, we established that incoherent light and coherent light are different, right?
And I told you that 5 minutes ago, but it doesn't matter for refraction. Which is what we're talking about. We were talking about the behavior of refraction for whether you had coherent or incoherent light. And with subject of refraction, it doesn't make any difference. And that's why we were saying it doesn't matter if you use a laser or normal light, it will bend in the same way.
You see,
oh, really?
Rumpus,
You gotta put sugar water. You gotta put a tank of water with sugar to make your laser bend, right, Rumpus? You're full of shit.
You're a moron. I mean, you're barely worth.
Yeah, another thing, they would use that laser to say, see, that's proof of refraction, because we know the Earth is curved, so that laser from 21 miles is proof of refraction. That's the way these guys operate. They can't think outside the box.
Brian, if things move around,
show us that in the real world.
We see things change their shape, and we see them move up and down in comparison to the horizontal. What do you think explains that, except for refraction?
What do you think explains that I can be on a river 8 miles, 9 miles
we see
clear through? What do you think explains that?
We've got to clear up this thing with Brian, but come back to you in a second. Brian, we see objects move up and down in our eyesight and with optical instruments. We see these things move up and down, fixed objects. If the refraction is not responsible for that, then what is?
Wait, we also see sinking. We see things being blocked. Yeah. We see things being lifted up. Okay, so what that proves to me is things is. Listen, let me give you my answer. Okay, I'm not denying that, dude. Let me give you my answer. You just asked me a question. Shut up. Let me give you my answer. My answer is we know something's bending. The light's bending. Either the Earth is bending or the light's bending. We know the light's bending. So, but we don't know that we can't prove the Earth is bending.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
The only way you do is a
we
long
don't even
distance.
know that laser light is bending. Show us laser light bending, like in your fishbowl.
Using a measurement like this. There are lots and lots of ways of showing the
Show us. You have a big mouth. Show us your laser, the same one you used in your fish tank. Show it to us bending in the real world.
Get in a line of longitude, go north, and you will see Polaris drop down every 69 miles. That can only happen on a spherical Earth.
Experiment.
What does yeah mean?
There are millions of them. Millions of ways.
Take your laser light, the one you used in your fishbowl, Grumpy Boy, and show it to us bending around the curve. Find a nice lake, a nice long lake, and show us. Until then, shut the fuck up.
That's what they did.
I'll kick your ass, Seaman Trail.
The Black Swan demonstrates that, as does this laser experiment.
All right. So we're gonna go into final thoughts. It's a good conversation. You guys can stick around. I'll be recording after the show. So here is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do final thoughts. But I had a super chat. Thank you. Sorry, I had to remember what I was going to do. B-Ball for Life super chatted a year ago. $5. How can we verify that the laser was level in this video? And I assume he's referring to the 21-mile laser video. I'm not sure that it matters too much if it's exactly horizontal or level, whatever you want to say. Still, what you got to deal with is the 220 feet of drop and the fact that the laser shouldn't be seen, which is what the discussion has been about. Okay, so let's see who's going to start. We'll start off at the top with Brian Leakey. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, what I was saying earlier is that's how they use is their proof of everything for like atmospheric pressure. They say, look, just go outside and see. Look, there's a gradient. Okay, when we can obviously demonstrate a gradient in containment, and we can demonstrate pressure in containment. Same thing with the laser. It's 21 miles. We see it. They say it's looming up, bending around the Earth. But if they say it's looming up, I say, why, and what's blocking it looming up? I understand his explanation. To me, it's not proven. They say, see, you want to see refraction? Boom, the 21-mile laser. There's proof of refraction because the Earth is curved. Same thing with the Michelson-Morley. They didn't get they got a null result through their instrument, and they said, well, since we know that the Earth is moving, then boom, see, there's no ether because boom, look, we know there's traveling 30 miles a second around the sun, so that's how they come up with all their proof. And instead of giving us demonstrations, isolated demonstrations like we give, and I think it's about time they got on their horse and got busy with some of these demonstrations, man, or either open up their minds a little bit, man. But I appreciate the platform, Brandon. It's a good show, buddy. Thanks.
Thank you, Brian. Mr. Buffingers. Chad.
Well, damn, he jetted quick. Oh, there, he's still there. Yeah, everything that Brian said. And good show. Thanks.
Thank you, Chad. Jimbo's not here. Thank you for being on the show, Jimbo. George.
It's so upsetting to hear people talk about coherent and incoherent light as being different. And Rumpus, I have to scold you for letting them get away with that. There's no difference in light, whether it being coherent and shut up a minute, Rumpus.
Hang on.
Coherent and incoherent. Light is wave packets of energy that we call photons, and all light consists of that. The only difference between coherent and incoherent light is that, or a laser, it's coherent monochromatic, meaning one wavelength, one frequency. So all the light coming from the lenses of the laser all come out at the same angle, so you can produce a very tight beam. Whereas if you had multicolored light, the light comes out at different angles on the beam, and you cannot produce such a tight beam as you get with monochromatic light on a laser. But laser light is no different than sunlight or scattered light in the atmosphere that you see, your flashlight, light bulb, whatever. Light is light. It's all photons, all wave packets of energy. Nothing is different.
Nice red herring.
All right. Thank you, George. Appreciate that. Matrix Media, Jay.
Good show, Brandon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Paige.
Yeah, great show. Thanks for having me, Brandon. I'm really missing hearing Bev and On the Level gang argue with these guys. They could have painted them into a corner with a few things too today. Maybe can we put down the spears and, maybe talk to each other a bit more? That's all. Just think about it.
I got you. I understand where you're coming from. Thanks, Paige. Pebble.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, good show. I'm in the process of getting some lasers, and I'll try to do some more observations with lasers in the warehouse. That's it.
Excellent, man. Looking forward to that. Ruhif.
Yep. Light bends in a density gradient. We know that. If we can accurately measure the temperature and pressure, we can work out what that gradient is, and we can tell you how much light will bend. The gradient near the surface is very difficult to measure, so therefore don't bother with observations so close to the surface, like lasers over lakes. Get above the surface and do your observations there. The end. Kumbaya, Paige.
Thanks, Ruhif. SE.
Yes, sir. What a good show tonight, Brandon. All light is not the same. We have sunlight and we have laser light. Those are not the same. There's incoherent light, there's coherent light. And whatever these guys say, don't believe it. Peace out, everybody.
Thanks, SE. Bob Dole. Rumpus.
Right, I don't know what George is getting upset about. I made it very, very clear that incoherent and coherent light bends in the same way. But you can't say that the only difference between coherent light and non-coherent light is the frequency. It's also the phase. So there are two things that make something coherent: the frequency and the phase. And and the phase does not affect the bending. Now, there is different bending depending on the frequency, and I've just looked up, and I'm afraid I've just found out that the speed of light is dependent in a material is dependent on its frequency. Now, as George says, the Maxwell's equations have got the permittivity, but presumably the permittivity it's got there is frequency dependent, is material dependent. In a vacuum, Maxwell's equation has got the values they have, but presumably in a material, it is frequency dependent. So I'm afraid light does travel at different speeds in materials.
I said homogeneous materials.
Yeah, homogeneous materials.
Talking about inhomogeneous.
Homogeneous materials.
That's why I told you it was a red herring.
All right, we can get into it in the after show. Go ahead, finish, Rumpus.
Right, so I'll say it again. In a homogeneous material that's not a vacuum, the speed of the light is frequency dependent. Okay. And
no.
It is. Well, okay, John, we're discussing it, but I think you'll find it is. I know Maxwell's equations don't, but I think that's because the permittivity, those constants are not constant in not frequency dependent. They're not frequency dependent in the vacuum, but they are in materials. where, I mean, Brian's half understanding what I'm saying, and he almost understands what circling rays. So we're making some sort of progress with Brian, but if he understood fully what I'm saying, he would realize there was no problem in the way and account for the laser thing. Now it's just a matter of you saying, well, it seems to be mostly now, seems to be you've accepted the geometry, accepted the theory. Now you're just saying, well, show that's what's happening in this laser case. And we can do that because the physics says that if you have a particular temperature gradient, you will get circulating rays and you will get the laser effect. And George has observed this himself. He's got pictures of it. He's got recently served many other people. We know this happens, and we know that's what the physics says. And as for the ultraviolet catastrophe, all the stuff that Max Planck did and the theories he came up with have been proved time and time and time again, and it's the basis underlying, historically, the basis of how your computer works. Thank you.
Thank you, Rumpus. Okay, anybody I missed that's back on? Bob? Oh, okay.
Hello.
Oh, there you are. You have final thoughts, Bob?
All right. Imagine no gravity. I wonder if you can. Nothing to pull or spin us. A level horizon. Imagine all the objects using buoyancy. You may say I'm a fluffer, but I'm not the only one. And I hope someday you'll see clearly you've been lied to by Tyson.
Oh my God.
Yeah, brother, my lighter is up.
That was brilliant.
The man has lungs.
Thanks, Bob. My final thoughts. Thanks, everybody. Thanks to the panel. Good week of shows. I appreciate everybody who joins and discusses everything with us. It's always fun. I'll be back. I will record the after show. And yeah, I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Thanks, guys. Okay. Well, that's the end of the week. You guys have a good weekend. Be back on Monday. See if I can set up a couple of one-on-one debates next week. We've had a lot of good debates, discussions this week, and I've actually enjoyed the time where we didn't have debates and discussions, especially yesterday's show. Yesterday's show was pretty entertaining, but it's always fun. So have a good weekend, and we will see you on Monday, same time. Bye.